welcome everyone. It's the Circle Debate, the Wrestling Delorean and Cage My IQ podcast, New Japan show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. This is the host, Devious One. Obviously, here with my other host, Mi Familia, the Triangle Office, the Triangle New Japan commentators. You should hire us, Gato. You should hire us. Shit. Yes.
Somebody hire us.
Hell yeah. Somebody hire us.
Do you believe it? Do you believe us now?
Right. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I am here, of course, with mi hermano, El Dinero, Mr. De Niro, because that's why he has the last name De Niro, because it comes to money, baby. Not you, Shane McMahon. Mike De Niro. Ladies and gentlemen. Mike De Niro, Wrestling Delorean Podcast, Circle Debate Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
What's good, everybody? I'm excited to talk some New Japan. Always look forward to our Tuesday shows.
Absolutely. And, of course, the man with the IQ that even, like I said, not even Gato wish he could have. And even, Marufuji maybe sometimes. Or even Taka Michinoku, or even Kenny Omega. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is
a bunch of random names.
I know, random names. Yes. The man with 1,000 IQ, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Bagley from Cage My IQ. What is up, my brother?
Not much. That intro gets me every time. I'm loving every bit of this tournament. I'm loving all this wrestling that we have going on. It's kind of like reunited my passion to talk about wrestling, and this was one of the first things that started it. So I'm glad to be talking to G1.
You mean Ric Flair's last match is not reigniting your passion?
Hey, I did watch it. So
did I? I almost fell asleep during it, but we'll talk about this another
time. Oh, sorry, Ric Flair. Oh man, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for week 3 for New Japan CLIMAX 32 G1 as we're recapping night 7 all the way to night 10. Man, this so far has been one of the most intriguing G1s I've seen in my entire G1, like that I've been watching since I would say 2010, in my opinion. For me, 2010 starts from there. But this has been really, really intriguing these last couple of nights, man. So many shocking upsets and, quite some that are like, hey, kind of funny. Hey, all right. But I can tell you that I'm really enjoying this, man. I cannot wait for the rest of the week coming up. I'm just, people subscribe to NewJapanWorld.com. It doesn't hurt that much. It's only $8 a month, for God's sakes, to be watching fantastic matches that you'll be going there. You'll be going that way, Ned Flanders, ladies and gentlemen. You will.
Yes.
Yes, that is right. And it's time to get it on. We're going to go ahead and start with night 7. So, Arnold, take it away.
It's showtime.
That is right, because it is showtime. We're starting with night number 7. Let me go ahead and bring up the card for everyone here, ladies and gentlemen. And it's night number 7, and there it is. That is right. That's night number 7 there. As of course, we start with the first matchup, which will be Will Osprey versus Yujiro Takahashi in the D Block tournament match. And of course, Will Osprey with the upset. So, man, all I know is that we did see you reunited, and it feels so good. I know everybody wants to see that. I know that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're TVMA, so we're not PG or PG-14, okay?
The following program is rated TVMAL. It contains...
See, there you go. Yeah. So we are. Fuck yeah.
I like it. I like how they did it, too, because, he was walking out there like, oh, where's Pita at? And then it was 2 minutes, and then she starts to walk out, and then you see him look back, and he's like, fuck her. And she's like, come back. And they was like, okay, come here.
I swear, I thought he was going to beat her ass, but then he threw the hat. I was like, oh, he's going to hurt her, but no, he just went straight for the hug. So I was like, oh. Yeah. Even Kevin Kelly was like, oh. I was like, that's right.
Hey, pimps could be emotional, too.
That's right. Pimps have feelings, too.
Exactly.
Yes. But one thing I want to let everybody know. This match, and I'll go right ahead first. This match was incredible. I enjoyed it because usually, like I said, I've been saying this at the beginning since the G1 has begun with Jiro has been really incredibly strong in his matches. But not with this guy, because this guy finished it with the ending, of course, with that blade hitter, man. And then, like, man, just give everybody a, there you go. You see? Bam! That is it. You're done. It's over. That finishing move. It is all. We live, baby. Yes, Kobe.
We live. Scissor me.
It's good.
Scissor me, damn it.
What's good, Kofi? Dirty Heels Podcast.
What up?
But yes, this match was awesome to see. Will Osprey, of course, with the win, getting 2 points in this matchup. So I'll take it to you, Dan. Thoughts about this matchup?
We've talked about Yujiro. He's always a slow guy in the ring where he likes to go slow, methodical, do less moves, but then take his time. But he got started very fast in this one. He was pretty quick. He knew that he had to pick the pace up with Will Osprey, and he did a good job at it. And then you saw a lot of his, pun intended, devious moves that he was doing to try and pick up the victory. He hit the pimp juice a couple times. I thought he was going to win it. I thought they were going to give him a shocking victory. But then Osprey kicked out a couple times, and then just like you said, he pulled it out with the hidden blade. But this was a very underrated match on the night. And then just like in a couple of his other matches, he always opens up the singles matches. They always put Yujiro first. And it's always a good move because he's very underrated in the ring. And you don't expect him to be because of just his slow pace. But I thought he worked well with Osprey. He did what he needed to do. He got Osprey over, and I enjoyed the match.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Nero, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad Dan said it. We even said it last week. You know, Yujiro is very underrated, and he's not a guy who picks up many victories in the G1, but he's a guy who puts on a lot of good matches. And I like that he has a change of pace. Like, it is a slower style match. It's more methodical. And that works when you're going against the opposite in Will Osprey. It's like, you know, opposites attract. So it leads to a good story and a good match to have one guy try to slow it down while Osprey tries to, you know, go 100 miles per hour like he does. But definitely a really good matchup. I thought that this was very solid, and they both hold their own. But that hidden blade was vicious, man. Especially like he hit it front of the face. Usually it's like to the back of the head, but when it hit it to the front, it looked even more vicious. So definitely a good victory for Will Osprey.
Not to change the subject. Like, I'm in a bunch of like MMA like community chats, and one of the guys brought up a video of Will Osprey doing the hidden blade to Nick Wayne, and he was like, is this real?
Oh.
Is this fabricated? I go, no. I was like, I took another video. It was from the G1. I showed him. I was like, this is his move, and it showed it in slow motion. He was like, oh shit. He was like, I can't believe that's weird because it looks like he's killing the dude. And I'm like, yes, that's the point of the move is he gets him from behind and hits him on the side of the head. And he was like, oh, that's neat. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's why he does it, because it gets you captivated with the finisher.
For sure. It's a vicious move. I wouldn't want to take it.
I wouldn't want to take that shit.
No,
hell no. And then, of course, we get into the second match of the night. For night 7, we got Toru Yano versus Bad Luck Fale, which, of course, is the A-Block tournament. As we all know, Bad Luck Fale pick up with the win with the schoolboy. This match, I know I'm going to get shitted for it, but I was meh. It is Toru Yano, though. We expect this from Toru Yano. So it's not like you're going to get like, a 5-6 beer matchup, especially with Bad Luck Fale. But, it's entertaining. It's Bad Luck Fale. That's what he does most of the time. So he caused himself to get the loss. This is his second loss at night, in the G1. They lose to the back of my Fale. So
I think it was just continuance of their match from months ago for the KOPW championship. Right. If you think about it, because they're doing basically the same thing that they did there. You had Toru Yano try and do the slam on him, and he couldn't do it. But the one thing that they changed up was the ending, where instead of getting the roll up, Bad Luck Fale reversed it and got his own roll up for the victory. He did his own mischievous move and picked up the victory there and got the nice start out to get the victory there. And that was the only change of point. Like, I agree with you. Like, it was kind of like, we've seen this from these two 3 times already. So they did the same exact shit. just on a different platform. But at least they had Fale win this time instead of Yano win like he did the first 2 times.
Absolutely. And shout out to Wrestling News, ladies and gentlemen, the Ultra Podcast as well. Make sure you subscribe to Wrestling News. That's right.
Wrestling News.
All right, De Niro, take it away.
You know, with the Fale versus Yano match, I got exactly what I expected. I really like the spot where they were like on opposite corners with the chair and they were just like daring each other to come. They're like, oh shit, well, almost ruined the podcast. No, but anyway,
you almost got hit with that chair.
Yeah, I think, But anyway, like, yeah, they're like daring each other to come. I thought that was a funny spot. You know, like I said, I got exactly what I expected out of these two, and I wasn't too mad at it, but definitely, you know, you're not going to have a match of the night with Yano versus Balak Fale. And that's no disrespect to them, but it's just, you know, the style that they bring. But I think that it was cool that Fale did win with the roll-up, though, because it was like beating Yano at his own move, you know?
Yeah. The match was like 5 minutes, like 5.5 minutes. It was you know,
it wasn't going to take up much time.
A little fill-in, which is great. But man, talking about great, this other match in night 7, match 3. Yes, that's right. Hiroku Goto versus.
Talk about hard hitting.
Oh man, this is fucking hard hitting right here, man. This was fucking good. I gotta play. Come on, Papa Vinny, say it.
Such good shit.
That shit was good shit, man. This really solidified not just Goto, but also Hinare, because now we're hearing the commentators from both sides, you know, praising Hinare, and you know more, you know, seeing Goto. While you know we all mentioned it, we're seeing the old Goto back, and this was incredible, man. Hard hitting. That's all I see between these two individuals, man. And of course, Goto with the win with the GTR. Man, this was for me. Night 10 was match of the night for me, man.
This was phenomenal,
yeah. And I'm getting fucking goosebumps right now just talking about it. Shit, it just got me so hyped up. But man, take it away, Dan. Take it away. Jeez.
And I like how I say this each week. I like how in the pre-matches, the 3-on-3s or the tag matches, they keep on making a point to have Aaron Henare the win by submission, and they're building up the character. And whether, just like we said, he's probably not going to win the G1, but they're building him up. They're building him up so that down the line, he's going to be a big-time player. He's going to be there for one of those championships. And I said it before, like, you have the never open weight title that he can go for. That'd be a perfect stepping stone for him if it's going after Carl Anderson, or if he waits till somebody beats Anderson and then beats that guy. That'd be perfect, because they're making it a point to get him over. And then he's having these great matches where it's like hard hitting. Like he beat Tanahashi, then he lost at the next match, which was a close match, and then he has this one where it's hard hitting. It went either way. He did have the full Nelson locked in, but it got broken out, and then he goes to do the Streets of Rage. It gets reversed, and then we get a little bit more, and then that's where you see Hiroki Goto counter and win the match. These guys just went at it. They looked very tired. They gave it their all, you could tell. And I'm just like, these are the matches that you want to watch and praise, because these guys are not leaving anything left. They're putting it all on the line. And then Goto picked up the victory here, but he still gives a lot of credit to Hinare. You're like, Goto wins, but you see Hinare, you're like, this guy's going to be great in about a year or two. He's going to be one of those guys that could surprise you and wind up being like a main event talent.
Oh, man. Absolutely. You spoke it right out of my words, man. That's right. Niro, take it away.
Yeah, this matchup was my match of the night, too, for night 7. This was just a banger. And especially the fact that, like I said last week, how Hinare had like that UWF style matchup against Zack Sabre Jr. I felt the same way with this one. This was just hard hitting. I even wrote down in my notes, I put strong style as fuck, because they were just beating the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? And
yeah, man.
I think that they're really building up Hanare, and the more I see Hanare, I'm falling in love with his moveset. Like, I feel like his moveset's so fun to watch, especially if you like that hybrid MMA professional wrestling style and like that hard-hitting style. So I really like that, you know.
It's like that mixed with street fighting. That's what it is. Like, we said it, Sagat. That's who he is.
That's perfect.
He is that through and through.
Yeah, and it's like he plays that off so well. And then when he's in there with guys who can match that energy, it just makes for a fun matchup. So Goto could definitely match that energy. We've seen him in some very big, like, strong style matches, and he matches that. So definitely, like, I feel like this is like a real throwback to like the UWF Japan days, because that was like that style, like that shoot work style that they would wrestle. But definitely Goto with a big victory. I'm glad that Goto's continuing to win, because, you know, he's a guy, like I said, that I've been a fan of for a long time. But Hanare really stood out in this matchup, and I can't wait to see where this guy goes, because right now he's showing out. Even though he might have lost his last two, he looked great in defeat. So I'm definitely excited to see where he's going after this tournament.
That's right. What's going on, Juggernaut?
What's good?
097. Thank you for tuning in. Man, but you know, I don't mind. Look, I don't mind Aaron Hanare to be on the mid card for the never open weight or for the US. I need to see Goto back in title chip contendership.
That's a
he
fact.
Needs to be back in the main title. It's about his damn time already, because we haven't seen him be up there. And how long has it been there? It's been years that we haven't seen Goto.
I'd say like maybe like his last title match, like where it was he may actually win. It's probably like 2013, 2014, maybe.
Right? Yeah,
like it's been a while. And you know what? It's like I feel like, you know, within the last like year or so, like he's definitely like climbing back up the ranks. So I would like to see him in a big title match. You know, maybe not Wrestle Kingdom, but maybe for one of the bigger shows like King of Pro Wrestling, or, you know, one of those like, you know, pillar shows for New Japan. I would love to see Goto get a title shot. And fuck it, I would like to see him win it, even if it's for a short run. Like, he deserves it. He deserves to be back on the top of the mountain.
Absolutely. Agreed 100%. Now we get into the main of he is a man. And of course, night 7, the main event, we have Tomo Hiro Ishii versus Tama Tonga in the B block tournament. A shocking win for Tomohiro Ishii, because no one expected Ishii to defeat Tama Tonga. But man, this was a hard hitting, and I could tell because the fact that the way how Ishii left the end of the night. Yes, you got your brain buster, of course, but man, look at you. You were tired as fuck, because that match was really insane, very tense. So much intensity in that match that it shocked me to see Ishii. I really thought Tonga was going to pull up this win, but in seeing Jado not really interfering too is what I like. He's been doing that a lot lately. He's keeping himself away, distant away. Let Tama find his rhythm to get himself on, him winning his own matches, in this tournament. But this, I did not expect Ishii to come out with that brainbuster. It shocked me. It really, really did. And even Tonga stood after, was going to actually go ahead and shake Ishii's hand, but Ishii didn't want none of it. It's a bad reputation they had obviously before with Chaos and the OG Bullet Club. So that's not going to happen.
I like how they kept to that too. Like, just because he's a babyface doesn't mean, we could forget all the fucking shit you did to me. Like, I like how they kept it to that. That's good storytelling.
It is, definitely. Take it away with them.
I like the matchup. Like, I would have liked to see Tama Tonga win, but I get why you kind of have to play up the storyline. Like we talked off air of him chasing Jay White a little bit more, and you have to add a little bit more to it. You can't just have Tama Tonga go into that matchup undefeated. It would have made it a lot more interesting, but I like the idea that if he can go into with one loss, Jay White undefeated, it adds more spice to it. So these guys had a great match. Like, I thought the speed of Tama Tonga compared to the strength, and of course he's the Stone Pitbull, Ishii, worked out to work great in this matchup. He almost hit the cutter several times, and each time he got reversed by it. And then the one turned into, of course, the vertical drop. for the victory, and Ishii gets that first victory in the block, and you think that maybe he could go on a run. That's what it's all about. They want to throw these matches where you think this guy has no chance of winning, and then he wins to get you invested into seeing if he can continue it, or if it's just one of those one-off matches that he gets lucky on.
Yeah.
And that's what this was, and it was in the main event. The one thing I didn't like was, even though I know it's his character, but he didn't talk at the end. He just is like, and then he throws it down. He didn't really do the ceremonial talk at the end, which known Ishii, he's not known for doing that. So
yeah, definitely. De Niro, take it away.
I just want to make a point to say that, you know, just to show how much Tama Tonga has really grew as a professional wrestler, like all around. You know, Ivan, you started out by your what's called opinion of the match, saying that it was a shocking win for Ishii. If this was a couple years ago, it would have been a shocking. It would have been like all right, we expected Ishii to beat Tama Tonga. It would have been shocking if Tama Tonga beat Ishii, but it's shocking now that Tama lost because how much he grew as a professional wrestler. So that's the testament to Tama. But this was definitely a good matchup. But the finish did piss me off just because, like, you know, we'll talk about why later on because of the other matches in the tournament for the other nights. I just felt like, you know, we don't expect Ishii to go forth and go on a streak, but we did think that, you know, Tama Tonga could be a upset sleeper for the whole tournament. So I was like, why would he lose to Ishii? But I can understand what Dan was saying. Like, it makes it more spicy for when he gets to Jay White. But I'm just thinking, like, yo, like, come on. Like, as much as I respect Ishii, like, he's not a guy that at this point in his career that we expect to win G1. So when you're going against a guy who could be one of those winners, like, I thought this could have been, you know, a victory for Tama Tonga. And it could have added to Tama Tonga's, you know, role as well. Because right now he's doing so good. And like both of you said, the intensity in this matchup was phenomenal. They brought the heat to each other. Ishii's known for that hard-hitting style, and Tama Tonga matched that energy. So he showed that he could bring more than just the athleticism and the explosiveness. He could bring that strong style as well. So I thought that was really interesting to see in this matchup as well. But I don't know. Like, I wanted Tama Tonga to win, but after I saw that brainbuster, I was like, damn, he's not kicking out of that. That was a stiff brainbuster. It's not one of those where – go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, like, Ishii's brainbuster is not a brainbuster where you see them, like, go full suplex, but then, like, they make it sound like it's a brainbuster. He actually, like, drives you down to your head. Yes. So when he hits that, like, it's curtains for you. So as soon as he hit that, I was like, God damn, Tama's not kicking out.
It's almost like a half crush orange in a way. Mm-hmm. Like that move. Like, I get what you're saying about Tomohiro's finisher. If you go to No Mercy, the 64, the half crush, you know, orange, which is like, I think Misawa used to do it a lot. That was one of his finishers. But
and then No Mercy, they would make the crunch sound too. Like,
yes.
Because
that's fire.
Like I see him doing that, and then I see like David Finley do the trash panda, and it's kind of like an inverted style where instead of doing it to the ground, he does it to his basically his thigh instead of the ground. And then I was, oh shit, they're kind of more alike than I thought they were. It's just that he's kind of flipping him to the side, landing him on the thigh instead of landing him straight down on the mat.
Yeah, David Finley put his own little like twist to it.
Yeah, he did. One thing I want to throw, I forgot to add that it was a scary moment when they were battling in the forearms. You see how Ishii delayed because he's like, oh, and he really went down. I don't know if he sold the shit out of it or it was legit, but man, that was scary because I was like, oh shit, he's really hurt. He's really
ever since Shibata, I get so scared for like some of these real strong style matches because like you could tell like there's full contact being made. This is not, hand up in front of you. This is not, fake fucking headbutts and chops. Like they're making full contact. So it gets a little scary at times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now we get into night number 8. We have to recap night 8. Let me show the records. The card for night 8 of the G1. Of course, we had Sonata, Great-O-Khan, Tanahashi, Zombre Jr., Jonah Lawler, Finley, and Shingo. So we're going to go ahead and go into the first match, which will be David Finley versus Shingo Takagi in the D block. Man, this is another shocking victory of course, for David Finley. This was a fantastic match. Great back and forth between these two individuals, man. Seeing him, and then, of course, with the stunner. But, man, did not expect Finley with the roll-up, and then, seeing Shingo like, what? Are you sure? And he was already getting pissed about the referee.
And he had him in a submission while he rolled him up.
Yes.
On top of it. And he got so shocked. He was like, oh, my God. He was like, two. He was like, 2. And he was like, no, 3. and he sold the shockness so well.
Yes,
because he was like,
did.
oh, my God. And it was just crazy because it started out, Shingo started out very fast. He's got that great speed power combination, and he shot out like a bat out of hell. But then he started to get a little bit tired. That's when David Finley took over, started doing his little like technical moves, and he hit the stunner. He likes to use the sweet chin music kick. He's just a guy that's come out of nowhere. Ever since we heard that news of him possibly not resigning, it was like, oh snap, he's getting his wish to be in here, but he's gonna just put a lot of people over and just enjoy the moment. No, that's not what's happened. Like he goes
not at all.
like he loses to Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. But then boom, he has his murderer's row right now that we're going through. He beat Juice, and then now he beats Shingo, and then we're going to talk about the Osprey one on night 10. But he pulls this out of his ass. It's just like, wow. It's like they went back and forth, and then towards the end, Shingo is about to get it. He locks in that submission. You're like, oh my God, he's going to get in the tap. And then all of a sudden, boom, rolls him over, gets the 1, 2, 3, and then they're just like in shock, like, oh my God, how did he pull this off? Like, you expected Shingo to win this. Like, you're like, okay, we can see Finley beating Juice because they're a tag team and had animosity there. He wanted to get that victory. But then you go and have him beat Shingo now. It's like, damn. And not only that, but that gave Shingo his second loss.
Yes.
Because he lost to Juice and he loses here. So it's like, that had some big ripple effects on this tournament. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from David Finley. There's 2 guys that I think are like MVPs of the tournament right now, and they're both in the same block. It's David Finley and Yoshihashi, and they're both in the D block, and they're going to be wrestling on the last night, or not the last in the last match.
Oh man, good point. But yeah, shout out to Tim King to the Wrestling Index. Make sure you subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, my brother? But no, I'm with you. The good call. Those 2 MVPs in that block. We'll get to Shingo in a bit, but yeah, all I can say is you're on point on what you just said. I will not disagree at all. Hell no, good shit.
Yeah.
All right, the floor is yours. We get him on one.
This matchup sucked. No, I'm joking. This matchup was amazing.
Hell no.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
That's right.
Nah, man, this matchup was amazing. And to be honest, like, I don't know, I said it when we were reviewing Dynamite on one of our Thursday episodes a couple weeks back when he was facing Hangman Page. If you remember, I said Finley is going to be a problem. Like, no matter where he ends up, he's going to be a problem because he is like legit. And I get a lot of like, he's like his father times like a couple, like I feel like he's his father if his father wrestled in the modern day, and it's perfect, because that's his son.
I didn't even know he was that young. He's only 29.
Yeah, he's got a lot of career ahead of him. But all I know is like, I agree. Like, to be honest, Finley's my MVP so far. But this matchup was great. When he kicked out a Made in Japan, I knew like, all right, this is insane because not many people kick out of that. Well, like he even mentioned in his promo on day 10, like people may have expected him to beat Juice, but Shingo's a former IWGP champion. Shingo's a former Dragon Gate champion, Dragon Gate USA champion as well. Shingo got lineage. Shingo's a guy who has been top echelon in Japan for many years, even before he came to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this was a real big victory. And right now, I think that David Finley could go against anybody and have a great matchup, because he's proven that he's a guy who could not only just go in there and compliment whoever style he's in there with, but also hold his own against the top echelon. So I definitely really enjoyed this matchup. Like I marked out when he won it because I did not expect it. I thought he had a great matchup with Juice Robinson, but we're probably not going to see him win too much more because, like Dan said, we don't know his contract status with New Japan. But when I saw him win this matchup, I was like, all right, I'm watching you now. Like I'm invested. So this was really awesome. I love this matchup.
Oh man, 100%, man. Definitely. I was really happy to see that. And it did, me too. It shocked me. I was like, what? And Shingo just got pinned, a former IWGP World Champion. Like, yeah, it's shocking to see that. But I mean, Jesus. All right, we get to night number 8, match number 2 of the night, and that is, of course, Jonah, the leader of TMDK versus the leader of Team Filthy, Tom Lawler, and the A Block tournament matchup. And of course, we did see Jonah with the upset with the torpedo. When it hands down to Tom Lawler, in the beginning, he did a fantastic job, aiming for the legs. Of course, you're facing a big man just like Jonah, kicking him in the legs, trying to get him to get down on one knee. So he did his best to do what he can to bring down Jonah, but Jonah's way too damn powerful. And that torpedo, man, Lawler took all of it. I'm surprised that he did not lose some air right there, gassed out. I'm surprised, but we mentioned off the air about ELP being on commentating that night. And of course, the aftermath, ELP. Hey, it's all good. We're good, right? We're good. Here, you want a hamburger? Here's a hamburger. You're giving him a hamburger. And Jonah put it right in his pocket. Yes, I'll take that hamburger. I'll gladly take that burger. I'll pay you back likely Tuesday.
Shouts to the random hamburgers hanging around the commentary desk.
How the fucking random hamburgers hanging out on the commentating? Oh my god. I feel sorry for Kelly. That was probably his burger. Like, why you give my burger away? What are you doing? What are you doing? Give my lunch away.
Kevin Kelly, can I just say Kevin Kelly was gold for like every single one of these nights. Like I forgot what matchup he was when he was talking about when he was a kid and playing with fire and shit, like playing with the stove, and his mom used to say, "Don't play with the stove." Like what the fuck? But Kevin Kelly was just so good at everything he does, man. I'm such a big fan of Kevin Kelly. Like you never got to see this personality that he had in WWE or in Ring of Honor. So I'm glad we're starting to get to see a lot of this personality that he had, because it's very entertaining to listen to.
Oh, indeed, man, indeed. All right, Dan, take it away.
No, just to piggyback what you said, I liked how he was attacking Jonah's legs, and then as he was doing that, he would go from behind a couple times, try to lock in the sleeper hold because he has that extensive MMA background. He locked that in. He would attack him with the guillotine a couple times. It was just all the notion was to get him on the ground so then he can use that wrestling style, the jiu-jitsu style to kind of wear him out. And then it worked for a little while. I liked how he was even baiting him into attack him along the ropes and then he'd move. And it was just to wear him out. They even said on commentaries like he's going to try and wear him out because he's a big guy. And it just didn't work towards the end because he made one small mistake, and then that's when he got caught. And then, of course, he got hit with the torpedo. And then, of course, Jonah got the victory. He is, that's a buddy of mine, he is in his organization. He's in New Japan Strong, though. But Tom Lawler is his boss in there. He's the head of Team Filthy.
Yes. All right. Nero, take it away.
Speaking of New Japan Strong, this was awesome to see two prominent members of the New Japan Strong roster facing each other in the tournament. I really enjoyed this matchup. There was so much personality that came out of both of them. Like when they were fighting on the outside and Jonah throws Tom Lawler over the guardrail and just turns to the camera like, fuck him. Like that was just like we don't usually see that side out of Jonah. So that was funny, but definitely a good matchup. And I think that Jonah is a star. I said this like a couple weeks ago. I think that he could be the next like Vader. He could be the next Bam Bam Bigelow of Japan. Like that next like monster like gaijin that New Japan was known for back in the 90s. They always had like that monster like gaijin, whether it was Vader or Bam Bam. And then later on, Brock Lesnar, who like ran roughshod through New Japan. Like they always had that major guy. And I think Jonah fits right in with that. So I would love to see him do more with New Japan in Japan. But definitely a good matchup. And you got to give it to Tom Lawler because Tom Lawler brings a lot of entertainment, but he is nowhere near a comedy wrestler. And that's what people don't understand. Like Tom Lawler will have his funny spots, but he is a legit MMA fighter who could break you down, submit you, and quickly could snap a limb if he wanted to. So I think that he has a real interesting like way of wrestling, especially going up against these bigger guys, because he likes to break them down to size, which is what he's going to need to do because he's in the block with all the monsters. So we're going to have to see this side of Tom Lawler a lot more. But definitely, I really enjoyed this matchup, and especially for the fact that it brought a lot of, I guess, like, I don't know. It was just awesome to see New Japan Strong represented so big here on the G1 Climax. It brought legitimacy to New Japan Strong, I think, in my opinion.
I like how when they got thrown to the outside, how you had Royce Isaac standing here, you had Jun Tito standing there, and they're like, "Don't touch him! Don't touch him!"
Don't touch him!
And then Kevin Kelly goes, "Don't touch him! Don't touch him, or you're gonna get one of them counted out." And then they were just like this after he said it.
and totally agree. I mean, I'm glad that these two individuals from Strong are getting the eyes of the Japanese crowd, and hopefully it intrigues them as well to watch New Japan Strong because, I mean, obviously they see Japan and New Japan, but I would love to see more of the Japanese crowd be more intrigued with the Strong here in the States and give them the praise, give them their kudos because, I mean, they're proving a point in this tournament, and these two especially that were handpicked, chosen by Rocket Romero to participate in this tournament.
Yeah. And I think there was a funny line from ELP in this match where they were talking about like being over here from the States and having to be in the hotels or whatnot where you stay at. And he goes, yeah, he was like, it sucks. We have to sleep on these wooden crates with these, what was it, with the
beanbag pillows,
the stomach pillows. He was like, it's horrible. And they're like, and then Kevin Kelly goes, I bet you it does. And that sucks for all the guys that have to do it. He was like, even though the Japanese are used to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, ELP was gold on commentary too. Like he definitely was gold.
Oh no, he was definitely a fantastic night for ELP being a commentator. All right, match number 3 for night 8. We do have Sonata versus Great Okan, and that is on the B block tournament. And man, Sonata, man, it was. You know what? I'll put it next week. But man, Great Okan is like your Val Venus in New Japan. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm gonna fucking say that right now. Hello, ladies. Like Great Okan. If you guys follow Great Okan on social media, this guy is the Val Venus of fucking New Japan, man. And I'm loving the fact how Sonata was like, I don't want to touch your ass. Like, oh, I kind of enjoyed this match. Right? I know, right? I mean, I had to. I don't know who else can I compare.
Big Konboski.
The Big Konboski. Hell yeah. But man, this match I did enjoy. Great back and forth between these two guys. And then Sonata taking, the Mongolian chops and Sonata just putting his hand, putting his arms behind his back and just taking them. And I just like, what the hell? Like, come on, Sonata. Even ELP was stating, man, come on, man. You do it. Come on, you do it too, Sonata. It's your turn. And but he took it like a champ and defeated, obviously, Great Okan with the body press. So, great. Finally, my boy Sonata gets some 2 points on there. So I was happy. So take it away, Dan.
Just the sound he makes when he does the Mongolian chop. It sounds so crazy. It's like, and then he does it. But is it me or when you think of Punch Out, doesn't he remind you of the one character King something? Where it does not.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you got to wait for his pants to fall down. And you got to hit him in the stomach.
The Mike Tyson Punch Out game.
Yeah. He reminds me of that character. I forget that because when he does the Mongolian chop, I loved how they did that. How they were just like showcasing how much Sonata could take, and then the very odd thing that he was doing was I liked the him doing the claw to the stomach of Sonata. Like he was doing it to the face, but he was making a point to do it to the stomach, to attack his stomach, because the stomach was taking a lot of damage. And then, of course, just like in the whole tournament, everybody is making an emphasis to attack the left eye of Sonata. He was poking at his eye. He was grabbing it. He was just doing everything to like injure him even more there to make it easier in the matchup. And I liked how he was doing it. It got reversed. Sonata runs to the opposite side, jumps over the ropes, jumps on the top rope, and then does that drop kick that he does. He does that in every match, and he makes it look so easy. And then they had that back and forth where they're going back and forth between the claw and then the sleeper, the dragon sleeper. And I just loved every minute of it because they were going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. Then you thought that it was going to be all Khan, but then he gets like reversed into the dragon sleeper. Let's go. And then, of course, Sonata goes on the top rope and does the moonsault and picks up the victory in a grueling like matchup there where it did a lot of damage with Great Khan did to Sonata, but he was able to pull it out there. It just showcases how well Sonata can do in certain situations. Like you've seen him fight different guys each matchup, and they're all doing the same thing, attacking his eye, but then they're all different styles. So he has to kind of find ways to overcome it to get the victory.
Oh man, definitely, yes, agreed. De Niro, take it away.
Yeah, I definitely think that this matchup showcased how tough Sonata is, and I think that that's what they were trying to show with him taking those Mongolian chops and just standing there like he could take it, and especially like you said, everyone's attacking the eye and they all know the weakness, and even after they go after the weakness, like he's still coming out with victories and great matches. So Sonata is definitely one to look out for. Like he was my pick to win the whole tournament. So I mean, at this point, I don't know if it's going to still go down that route, but yeah I still think that there's a chance, but definitely a solid matchup. I like the type of wrestling that Great Khan brings. Like he's very unorthodox when he's in there, and you don't know what he's going to do next. Like he just pulls out things that you don't really necessarily see all the time. Like for example, like doing the claw to the stomach. If you remember during Forbidden Door, I think he was like he had Trent in the corner. He was like sitting on Trent's head. Like this is shit that you don't see all the time. So it's good to see someone like that.
He did that at the show I went to, and I was right there. Like I got a picture of him doing it, and I'm like, what is he doing? And he does it a lot now. But I'm like, I'm literally right there looking up at him, and he's doing it to Chuck Taylor. That's who it was. It was Chuck Taylor. He did it.
Nah, yeah. I mean, it's cool to see guys like that because it makes the match unpredictable. So definitely cool to see Sonata going against someone who's so unpredictable and still pulling out the victory, because Sonata is another guy who I think is very underrated and gets slept on a lot. But I enjoyed this matchup.
Definitely. Yes, indeed. All right, we get to the main event for night 8. Oh, man, this is another one too. Match of the night for me for night 8 in this one, and that is Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zombre Jr. That's not in the same. Is not looking good yet. Maybe, one day. One day.
Tim, me and you both. I thought the same thing.
Yes, I did. Me too. And of course, on the C block tournament, and what a fucking slobber knocker this match, man. I really want to say, because just the intensity that these two bring in that ring, and seeing Sombre's a fucking technician to the king. He's a king of technician, man. And Jesus Christ, man. And of course, just look at that. Look at that. Oh my God.
That torque on that elbow, on that shoulder is nasty.
Oh, it's nasty. One thing I do want to give props to Tanahashi. He kind of did the same route. These two individuals were going back and forth using their same moves. Like, he's Tanahashi using on Zombre using on, Tanahashi moves. But man, I didn't expect the ending of this match to end this way with this roll-up. Tanahashi shocked me, him getting this victory. I did not expect Tanahashi to win. Honestly, I expected Zombre to win by submission. That's what I expected for this. And I expected Tanahashi passing out. Not him tapping, but passing out. That's what I was looking for. But this shocked me. And then you see Zombre was like, what the bloody Christ, what the fuck?
Bloody Christ.
Bloody Christ. all due respect to my, UK fans or all of you, we love you guys, but man, you can, and then seeing them Indians sitting looking at each other and headbutting a little bit towards each other, but that's a mutual respect they have, and it was for me match of the night for night 8, man. That was really extremely intense. I really enjoyed, and we're seeing, and then what I love that Tanahashi is like, I don't care if I cheat in this tournament, I will win this fucking tournament, will cheating or not. And that's what we've been noticing of Tanahashi. We're seeing the little evil side coming out of him, that heel side. He's putting everything on the line to win this tournament, because this could be as well his last opportunity, in this G1 tournament, because he's not getting any younger. Same as Naito, what we get into, and the following. But this match for me was match of the night for night 8, so I really enjoyed it. Take it away, Dan.
And just like we talked about in one of the matches before, it was another submission that was countered into a pinfall for a victory, and out of nowhere that caught Zack Sabre Jr. by surprise. And just like you said, they sat there for like a minute just looking at each other. You don't know what they were saying. They were just saying something to each other. Then he rolls out of the ring, and then Tanahashi did his whole guitar thing. But what I liked about it was once again, they're trying to draw in the point that Zack Sabre Jr., when he locks in a submission, because of the way that he was brought up, he only does 6 seconds, and then he moves on to another submission, 6 seconds, and then on to another one. He's always transition into another one, because you don't want to do it too long to where you give your opponent enough time to reverse it. So he was doing that for a while, and you're like, damn, just a twerk here, twerk there. I loved on the outside where he grabs the hand and then he stomps on top of it to hurt Tanahashi. And then he's just very technical. He's just obnoxious with his style. He's like, I'm better than you. He was like, and I'm just going to do whatever I want. And, I'm the most technical guy here. And he's just showing it. And then he was kind of like, they were going back and forth, but Zack Sabre Jr. was kind of pushing the pace. But then out of nowhere, you see at points Tanahashi would go in there. He did the twist and shout. He did the screw to the outside. I just love the pace of it. And then he catched him at the end with the pin out of nowhere for the victory. No one saw that coming. They were like, okay, this is where he loses, and then he wins. And I believe that was Zack Sabre Jr.'s first loss too.
It was.
Yeah. So which is good. Like, you don't want like there might be one guy that goes undefeated until the end, but this was the one loss that you expect Sabre Jr. not to have, because he's had Tanahashi's side the past couple of years, but then Tanahashi gets him, and it makes it more shocking. That was a great time to have him win.
Yeah. You don't want too many people going into this tournament like going undefeated, because you're gonna start booking yourself into a corner, and not everyone could go undefeated, because once those semifinals come, it's like, all right, not the semifinals, but the finals of the blocks. Like, what are you gonna do if you can't have triple threats and four ways all the time? You know what I mean? So you got to have some of these guys take some losses, and like you said, it's not like he's losing so much by losing to the ace of the company. Like, he's losing to Tanahashi. He's not losing to Yano or something. Like, he's losing to Tanahashi. So he definitely, he's not going to lose any status on the card or whatever by losing to the guy who's been known as like the John Cena of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I definitely don't mind that he lost this. I just think that it's interesting that they played it off that, his arm was underneath the ropes. So technically that should have been a rope break. It shouldn't have been the victory for Tanahashi. So he has a gripe. Even though he loses, he still looks strong in defeat.
Not really.
No, he doesn't have it extended there, but when they show the camera, he has it extended at the end, at that 3. He had it extended over the thing. So he had a gripe there. So I feel like they're definitely keeping him strong. And it's good because he had a great showing against Kenta. He had a great showing. Who was his matchup against? Hanare, which was phenomenal, right? Yes. So, like, he went into this strong, and I feel like even in defeat, he still looks strong. So I think that Zack Sabre Jr. is a guy to continue to look out for his tournament. But definitely a great victory for Hiroshi Tanahashi. He couldn't take another loss. He lost on the first night to Hanare. So I think that this was good for him to win this. But this, I don't know, like, this was a great match, but for this night, I think between this and Shingo versus Finley, like it's hard for me to say who had the match of the night because they both were bangers. This all night was a full banger card. Like I love this, but great main event for sure, and definitely happy to see Tanahashi pick up the victory here.
Oh,
I love it.
that's right. We do, Leo. We do love it. All right. It's time to get into night number 9, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Night number 9, another one. This is the one that all of us were waiting to see because this is a game 7 for the main event, but we'll get into the main event. But let me show the card for night number 9 right here, as we had Lance Archer, Jeff Cobb, Yoshihashi, Juice Robinson, Jay White, Chase Owens, Okada, Bad Luck Fale, and the main event, Tetsuya Naito versus Evo. So, man, we're going to get into the first match of the night for night 1, and that is Lance Archer versus Jeff Cobb, and that is in the A block tournament match. This match was obviously not long to, we expect 11 minutes. It didn't seem long to me, but great heavy hitting for me. I did enjoy it. Seeing Archer, because before, I guess Archer the night before was, I think 2 nights ago, I think prior to that, there was an injury scare that he had because they drop kick him towards the knees, and it was really scared. So he walked on his own. So it was kind of like very scary. Oh shit, he might get hurt on this. He might be injured. So thank God that everything was okay for him, and he was able to continue competing in the tournament. But this one, it was a heavy hitting, and it's slow pace in the beginning. Then towards the middle, it started to become a little bit more fast paced, heavy hitting. See with choke slam, and then we see Cobb, of course, powerhouse, and picking up Archer. And did not expect the Tour of the Islands on Archer and Cobb with the upset, and now that puts up Cobb for 2 points, and Archer down to 2 losses now. So did not expect. Honestly, I kind of was expecting Archer, in my opinion. I wanted to see Archer to win, but I'm happy that Cobb wins because he deserved that win. So I'm happy. So take it away, Dan.
Yeah, and one of the things, the moments I liked was when he did, when Jeff Cobb did the surfs up, but instead of doing it on the back, he wasn't able to do it the first time. So then he did it on the stomach, and he did the surfs up from that side. So I thought that was a funny comedic moment there, doing it the opposite way. And then, of course, seeing him do Tour of the Islands, like with all those big guys here, you're seeing him do Tour of the Islands to all these guys that you don't expect it to. Yeah. And he just keeps raising it up. Like you had like Bad Luck Fale, now Lance Archer. I think his next matchup is going to be against Jonah, I believe it is.
Oh, yes.
And you're just, and then you're just like, how is he going to top it each time? Because it was like, Archer's not like big, but then he's tall, so it's like a different feel to it. But he was able to do it. He tried to do it the first time. He wasn't able to do it because Lance Archer was hitting him in the head with the elbows, broke it up, and then Archer went and did, I think, the choke slam. It was, but then he was able to get it at the end and got it. Like just like you said, it wasn't that long of a match. It was a lot of just back and forth. A lot of them on the outside, bruising each other, because if you watch the pre-show, the day before, they were kind of going at it, got heated at the end, and then they were throwing the young boy at each other, just playing playing baseball with the young boy, seeing who could throw them at each other the fastest, which was kind of funny. But Jeff Cobb got the victory here. He's going to be in it towards the end. Somehow you feel like he's going to have a chance to win the block, because even though he lost to Okada, you have a feeling that maybe Okada's going to slip up at some point, and then this block A is going to be up for grabs. So you got to have somebody up there, and then Jeff Cobb's a name that should be up there.
Oh man, definitely, yes. All right, the new floor is yours, my brother.
I definitely love that, for the last 2 matches for Jeff Cobb, he's fighting as like the underdog. He's not much smaller, but he's the smaller opponent. Yeah. And, usually when Jeff Cobb is in the ring with people, he oversizes them and he uses that size to his advantage. So it's cool to see with the match with Fale and the match with Archer that he has to fight from underneath. But definitely a really good matchup. When Archer brought him up for the blackout, I was like, oh man, like, is he going to do it? But it was insane. I love the fact that they are building like this mini story. You saw it after Jonah versus Tom Lawler, like the collision course that these two are on to go against each other in their next matchup. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in that matchup, because that's the matchup. When we were going over the blocks, if you remember, I said the one I'm really intrigued for is Jonah versus Cobb. So I can't wait for that matchup. Nonetheless, like Dan said, I could see Cobb in it towards the end, because right now, yeah, he had that slip up against Okada, but he's been killing it ever since and showing that no matter what size opponent he has, he'll hit that tour of the islands, and when he does, it's over. So I really like that, Jeff Cobb is going far in this tournament. I also said it during when we did our predictions for the whole tournament when we saw the blocks. I said that Jeff Cobb could be a guy who could really shake shit up, and then, if he wins, that could throw a big curveball in the whole, like, up main event scene for New Japan. So I think that's definitely interesting if he continues to be on this winning route.
Yeah, totally agree with that. This will be a sleeper if he does, wins that block.
Sure.
I'll be shocked. I'll be definitely shocked. I'll be like, oh shit, really? All right, now we get into the second match of night 9, and that is Hashi versus Rock fucking hard, Juice Robinson, ladies and gentlemen, on the D Block tournament matchup. I want to say one thing, and I want to get this out of my chest, and oh my god, and I just cringe when I say that. I will never, ever want to get chopped by Hashi ever in my life. Fuck
those shit's
that shit.
Yes.
Hell no. Look at Juice Robinson's fucking chest. Hell no. Jesus, man. Look at this. His chest is red as hell.
It's like Freddy Krueger's chest.
And
Is it me, or did Hashi get bigger?
He got bigger.
Oh yeah. No, he put on size.
He put on size. Because he was a junior heavyweight a while back.
Yes.
I think and he moved up to heavyweight. So he did get bigger. And man,
I mean, just recently, I feel like in the past year he got bigger. Like I'm not saying jacked, but he got bigger, and then you could tell he put on more muscle towards him. Because when I watched him face Shingo, I felt like they were only not the same size, but like I felt like their chest was the same size. But then, of course,
yes.
Shingo has the bigger legs, which was the difference in that matchup. But his upper torso is bigger now.
Oh no, I'm with you. I think Yoshi started getting bigger when you mentioned like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I remembered he got hurt because he was out for quite some time. I think he was out for almost a year. It was close to almost not life-threatening, but career-threatening. Like it was going to be over for his career. But I guess he came back. He rehabbed, and during the rehabilitation, he got bigger. And I did notice that too when I was watching this match. And then I went back and watched the Shingo. I'm like, fuck, those chops, man. Shingo, man. Yoshi, man. Like I said, I never want to get chopped from this man ever in my life. Hell no. Look at that chest. That is horrible. No.
That's what I'm saying. You look at New Japan and their strong style, like you can't fake that shit. Like they are beating the shit out of each other. And it's insane. Like, yo, like I said, look at fucking Juice Robinson's chest looking like Freddy Krueger. Like, fuck out of here with that shit. I ain't gonna take that shit. Like, damn.
And I like how in every Hashi matchup so far, it's a lot of him doing the chops and a lot of him going toe to toe with those clotheslines with his opponent. Like him and Shingo went at it, and then even him and Juice Robinson were going at with the clotheslines, and then they had sequences where he tried to do karma, it got reversed, then he got beat down a little bit, and then Juice went to do the pulp friction, and you're like, oh, he's done. But as he's pulling him up to do it, you see him kind of do the underhooks, pull him up, do the back suplex, and then set him up, and he got the karma, and then you're like, holy shit, is it gonna get the 3 count? And then you got 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, holy shit, he just beat Juice. I'm like, and then in the back of my head, I'm like, oh shit, Juice and Shingo now have 2 losses. I was like, what is going on here? Like in this D block is just like thrown upside down. And like if you're looking at the papers right here, you're like, okay, I got all my notes. This guy, and this guy's gonna win. It's that neat meme where you see the guy just go throw the papers out the window because it doesn't matter anymore. Because that's basically what happened in the D block. Because it's like Hashi beat him in emphatic fashion. It was like they had their moves, but he basically dominated that matchup.
You know what? Yes, I'm with you. He super dominated. Like seeing Yoshi, and then you see Juice in the corner just being chopped. He's like, oh, like he's taking it. He's fucking taking those chops. And oh my god, go ahead. It just cringes me. My chest hurts.
Yeah, Yoshihashi proven in this tournament that you're not going to outstrike him, and he's going against some heavy strikers. So like he's holding his own. But yeah, this is one of those victories that I didn't expect. I thought Juice was going to redeem himself for losing to Finley. So I think that's what like this whole concept. And we keep talking about how like we never know what's going to happen because you don't know who's going to win. And I think that's what's making this year's G1 very fun for me because none of these matches are predictable because they're showing they proved it with the first matchup for the tournament. They set the whole feel and the vibe for this tournament that anything can happen when Hinare beat Tanahashi. So that narrative has been going through the whole tournament, having guys like Yoshihashi beat Juice Robinson when Juice Robinson right now is on a roll. It's a big victory. And Yoshihashi's a guy that reminds me just like Yujiro. Like we talk about him all the time, how he's underrated, just like Taichi, Yujiro, Yoshihashi. They all are kind of like in that same boat where, you're not going to see them on the main event, but like don't sleep on them because they'll give you a run for their money. So it's good to see these guys get these victories. It's good to see guys like Goto and Hashi and Taichi get victories because they're showing that, hey, we can hang. And they're getting like the attention right now, which is great because Yoshihashi had a fucking banger with Shingo. We talked about that last week. And then he had a banger with Juice, but this time he actually came out with the victory. So I think that he's going to be a guy to watch.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you because Yoshi, for me, has the potential to already go into the singles run for the world title. I feel that he could be ready for that because he's proven himself. What is going on? Tribal Chief Day. Yes, I know. We'll talk about it on Thursday on episode 113. Yeah, we them ones. You can have it. We
gonna flip the ring on Thursday.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's right. That is right. But man, Yoshi could be that top contender for that world title. He has the potential. It's the same with Goto. The same we could say about even with Yujiro. I mean, as much as people look, if Yujiro wasn't strong, I would book him in a great fucking storyline for that strong world title. I
see that. In my opinion, that's the problem with New Japan because, that's been the narrative, in my opinion, since I started watching in like 2012, 2013. Like you always got these guys like, yo, this guy's solid, but who do we see in the main event? You see the maybe like 4 or 5 guys consistently in the main event, and you rarely see these guys get that shot. So like, I feel like that's the issue. You got to give other guys that shot because that's why, like, for example, if you give me Naito versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom again, it's going to be boring to me because it's like we've seen that shit how many times, you know what I mean?
You gave Evil that shot that one time because of everybody was out due to the pandemic that couldn't come back. So you gave him that shot, you turned him heel. It was a great oh my god moment.
And then look at him now, like it didn't really elevate him. Like,
it just went down. You gave Osprey his chance, and he was a great move to the main event scene. Yeah, it was a great thing. And now he's, of course, the U.S. right now because you got lightning in a bottle with Jay White, but you got to get more main event talent. You can't just keep it going like it's that meme where you see if you look at the past, was it 4 or 5 G1s? You got any number of after Omega left, it's any of Okada, Naito, Tanahashi, Jay White, or Ibushi, Kota Ibushi. and then that's it.
Yeah, and it's not like, for example, like a WWE situation where it's like, oh, they need to make new stars.
Yeah.
They have these stars, and these stars are showing out in the G1. So why not give them a chance? Like, run with them. You don't have to put the title on them, but they will give you solid main events. Like, book Yoshihashi versus Jay White in the main event of a pay-per-view or of a big show.
I would.
Yeah, like what are you going to lose? Like, they're going to give you a hell of a match, and they're showing this. Like, guys like Dave Finley, who going into this tournament was just a tag team guy, and we'll see what he could do singles run. He's proven like, hey, I could be in the main event, and I'm going to give you a hell of a match.
One thing that I liked, even though he didn't do great in last year's tournament, but if you think of the success of the singles run of Tonga, it can be correlated all the way back to the last G1 where he was the only one to defeat Okada towards the end, and he wound up following that up with the briefcase match where he lost it. I think Power Struggle, I believe it was, but that was kind of like his startup into singles style, where it was again success as that, and then they leaned that towards like him going into the of course G1 and then turning face. So you can kind of take that chance with him just even not winning, but putting him over a big guy like Okada. That's a huge victory, and it's worked out for him.
I just feel like this has been the problem with New Japan for many years. It's like they don't strike when the iron's hot. Like, I remember the 2012 G1. Carl Anderson was in that G1 and had a fucking hell of a tournament.
Hell of a run he had.
Yeah, he almost went undefeated until, like, I think it was the semifinals where he lost to Nakamura.
Yes.
But everybody was talking about, yo, Carl Anderson's next up. Carl Anderson's next up. And then they put him in a tag team. And it's like, yeah, Good Brothers are a great tag team, man, especially like the Bullet Club and all that. But at the time, people wanted to see what else he could do as a singles wrestler because he just went on this crazy run in the G1, and then you do nothing with it. So, like, I hope that this is different this time. I want to see guys like Yoshihashi get, like, singles pushes after this because they deserve it, and they're showing that they're putting on bangers. This matchup right now could be, one of, like, the top 5 matches we've seen so far in the G1. This, especially the match with Shingo, I think that's, like, top 2. So, and Yoshihashi's in both, so it's like, why not run with these guys?
Yeah.
All I can say is do not want to get chopped by Yoshihashi. Ever! Fuck that. Never want to get chopped.
Nah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend to look for Yoshihashi chops because look at Juice Robinson's chest, and I was looking for the Shingo picture.
Japanese Walter.
That's your Japanese Walter.
Ooh.
That is for sure. Oh, Gunta! Yes, that is for sure. All right, and now we get into the next matchup of this tournament, and let me see which one is the following one, and that is, of course, hey, your IWGP World Champion.
Where's my money at?
Oh, yeah, Jay White versus Chase Owens. All I can say is, you know what? Let's bring it up. All right, where's my money? All right, here's your money.
I was very sports entertained.
Yes.
so was I was fucking entertained. I was like, I really enjoyed this one. Here's your money, man. All right. Let me check. Let me count it. No, wait. Don't count it yet. Don't count it yet. No.
We'll give it to him.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. We'll give it to him to hold it. Yeah, he went. Obviously, he goes down to the ring, gets the money from one of the commentators. One accountant. It was 1 10,000 yen, 2 10,000 yen, and of course everything was blank. And he's like, what the fuck? He just threw everything away. And like, man, playing with my money. It's like playing with my emotions, Jay White. What is wrong with you playing?
And then I think it was either right before that or after. He was like, okay, I'm laying down. He goes to lay down. He goes like this. And then Jay White's like, no. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna act like you're gonna take the pin, then you're gonna roll me up, and then you're gonna
because of the Udro ELP. Like it was a similar situation.
And then he was like, no. And then you see Jay White attack him, and then you see Gator on the back. He was like, "What are you doing, Jay? What are you doing, Jay? We had a deal." And then you see Chase Owens go, whoa. And you see him just slow play it, and then you see him go to do it again. And then you see him go and hit him with the knee, and then goes to do the crown jewel, and then you see Gator go, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" So then he stops it. He's like, "Okay, Gator," and then you see them going at it, and then that's where it got good. Like, I'm still feeling those C triggers right now.
Oh my God!
Talking about it, he got him three or four times. And then that's when they went back and forth. That's when they went back and forth between the Blade Runner and then the Crown Jewel. They were going back and forth before, of course, he gets the Blade Runner at the end. But geez, this match, like the actual match itself, minus like all the charade and sports entertainment, was kind of short, but it had a lot of impact in between it. And I like how they sold it at the end, where you see Jay White going like this. He was like, damn. He was like, and the funniest part was when they're walking up the ramp, you see him going like this. You see him turn the Chase Owens. You see, he was like, you almost had me. You almost had me. And he goes like this. And then Chase Owens goes, yeah. He was like, I almost did. I almost had you. And then you see Gator in the back going like, that was the most entertaining part of the whole segment, was that end, because it made me laugh so hard. But it was a hard fought match for like the 3 minutes that they actually wrestled.
I could say that this match really showcased Owens a lot, because we're used to seeing Owens more gimmicky. Then as of recent late, we see them now getting more technical, and especially him being a former IWGP World Tag Team Champion along with Battle at Fale. So we talked about it a while back. We're finally seeing now you could call them, I don't want to call them minorities or I don't want to say it like that, but the one you could call them jobbers, he believes so. The one that takes the fall for the damn club. But now we're seeing more. Hey,
he's the Texas State World Champion. Remember that?
Yes. I'll remember that. I forgot about that. But man, all I can say is Chase Owens did extremely impress me. I was really happy to see Owens showcasing and what he could do in the ring. And what I love about it is that Jay White really sold it really clean, especially like how you mentioned the C triggers. Look at that! Oh my God. Just that C fucking trigger, man. And of course, Jay White with the upset, man. With, of course, Switchblade, baby. That is right. I would never. People will ask me before comparing Jay White's finisher to Bray Wyatt's. I can't compare them. It's too different. There's one that is
where Bray Wyatt kisses you first.
Exactly. Bray Wyatt kisses you first.
Well,
Jay White out of nowhere.
He kind of like picks you up very slowly, kisses you, and then does it. Whereas Jay White can do it from a lot of different angles. He picks you up and then does it.
And does it so fast too.
Or he likes to pick you up very quickly from the ground and then does it.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt was more of like a bigger guy, so like he wasn't able to do like some of these like transitions into it. Like he had to just like pick you up and do it. Where Jay White's more of like a I guess like more slender. And like if someone has him up, like he could always reverse a move into the Blade Runner, which is very interesting because you didn't see that with Bray Wyatt. Like he could catch the Blade Runner out of nowhere, where like Bray Wyatt, it was a little like you knew it was coming.
Yeah, just like he transitioned the Dragon Sleeper from Sonata into the Blade Runner.
Yeah, you never know where it's coming out of from, but he finds a way to get it in no matter what position he's in, which is great.
Oh man, yeah. Absolutely. But I really enjoyed the showcase of Chase Owens in this. So I was really entertained and was happy to see, back and forth between these two individuals. And this could show that Owens can go. Fight, Owens, fight. No pun intended, Kevin Owens. Chase Owens, all right? All right. But take it away, De Niro.
I really like the beginning because it shows like whenever these Bullet Club guys come together and have to face each other, there's always some sort of like shenanigans that go on. So that's why like from the Yujiro ELP match and then Kenta versus Evil and now this, like I always find these Bullet Club versus Bullet Club matches very entertaining. I think this might have been more funny than any other Bullet Club versus Bullet Club match that we got. But, in this tournament, we've seen a lot of marathon matches where they go long, and then we've seen a lot of sprints. but this was definitely a sprint because this went only a few minutes, but they packed a lot of action in that few minutes. So I think that it was really cool to see. But I also can understand why they didn't go too long. Jay White has been having banger after banger after banger. Like, you had to expect somewhere in this tournament, you're going to give him a match that's not going to be too long just because he's your champion and you don't want him to get injured. You can't have him going like 20, 30 minutes every single time he's in the tournament match, especially wrestling so frequently. So I could see why like this was a more shorter matchup. But like I said, in that few minutes that they had, they packed a punch because there was a lot of shit that they unpacked inside of that, like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes from when they started getting serious. So I thought that was very interesting. And Chase Owens, like those C triggers, you know, you don't want to take a chop from Yoshihashi, or you don't want to take a knee from Chase Owens.
No.
Oh, no, hell no. Never. I would never want to take a knee from Chase Owens, ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But also, Jay White's still undefeated.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Still undefeated in
One of two guys.
Yes, indeed. And we get it into the fourth match of night 9, and that is, of course, Kazuchika Okada versus Bad Luck Fale on the A Block tournament. And, man, all I can say is to see Okada bringing the old school back, you know, obviously using his, you know, we saw last time he started bringing some old school maneuver backs. And surprisingly, I was shocked when he picked them up. I want to like when he picked them up for.
Yeah, wasn't it like a inverted Alabama slam onto the knee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. I was really shocked. I was like, oh man, I really.
Fale's a big guy.
He's a fucking huge guy, but man, Okada with the upset, of course, with the submission win, with the Rainmaker, that shocked me.
I love how Tom Lawler called it too. Like the way that he commentated, he was just like, if that was any other guy, they probably would have been able to sell it a little bit more. But the selling of it and him tapping so quick was so good because he's just like Ishii, where he's a big guy with not much neck, but because he's a big guy, he doesn't have too much traction there. So when you squeeze it, it's going to hurt him a little bit more because of who he is. So it forces him to tap a little bit more than like a normal guy who can kind of try and get out of it a little bit more and fight it more. But because of how he just cranks it in there and squeezes it, and he doesn't have a neck, it makes it hard for him to fight it. So he has to tap so fast. So I liked how he did that.
Oh man, definitely. I did too. I really did enjoy that. I was just like, oh man, it's good to see Okada to pick up, you know, the win this certain way, especially not only that, but think about this also protecting the big man as Bad Luck Fale, because he is a big man, but you're protecting your big man talent, showing that how it takes to beat such a big athlete like Fale. He's not gonna pick him up for the tornado tombstone. You think the other clothesline Rainmaker is gonna make it happen? No. And I'm glad that this is the best way that Okada won this match, and by submission. So I was really happy, and because it protected Bad Luck Fale at the end of the night.
This was the one mistake Kevin Kelly made. He called the submission the Rainmaker.
It's the money clip, right?
Yeah, it's the money clip. And he called it the Rainmaker, and I was like, there's that 1 out of 100 mistake that you don't think he's gonna make, and he made it. I'm like, he's turning into JR here. And then
at first I didn't catch it. I was like, why is Okada naming all his finishers the Rainmaker? Like, you got the Rainmaker submissions. I was like, wait, no, that's the money clip. Like, it hit me. I was like, wait, no.
Yeah. It's the money clip. But I liked how he sold Bad Luck Fale. Bad Luck Fale, he was getting at him early. He almost got him picked up, but then he fell to the back to keep himself from getting finished. And then that's when he went on the attack, did the Alabama slam inverted. And then he went to do the Rainmaker, didn't get it. And then he was able to reverse the one move into the money clip. Mm-hmm. And that was perfect. It was short, it was sweet, and to the point.
Oh, man, definitely it was.
Yeah,
I feel like take it away.
Yeah, I feel like this matchup just like it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. That Okada could hang with the bigger guys, and he's going to find a way to win. Like, yeah, he's not going to be able to maybe pick up Fale for the tombstone and stuff, but he's going to find a way to break him down and submit him. So I thought that was great, and I'm glad you mentioned Tom Lawler on commentary because him using his background in MMA and his expertise to really explain why the money clip was so effective on Bad Luck Fale. I thought that was a really nice touch to it too. But definitely a good matchup and a great win for Okada.
It was a great win for Okada, that's for sure. And I was really happy for that. And they see when we'll get into see what happens after that for Okada. Now for the main event for Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. This is Game 7, do or die. Because if it is, it'll be over. And that is, of course, for Tetsuya Naito versus Evil in the C Block tournament. Because this was do or die for Tetsuya Naito. Because if he would have lost, that would have been it. I would have been.
You son of a bitch.
I cannot believe this shit.
That's what I would have been if he would have lost this match. Because obviously, with Tetsuya Naito is 0-2. If he would have lost this one right here, that would have been it. He would have been out of the tournament. Makes no sense for him to be in at all. And that would have been it. It would have been over for Tetsuya Naito. But what I did enjoy is, of course, the beginning of the match, how we see Naito, of course, coming in. And as they were announcing him, right behind Naito was Evil. And then once he turned around, he see Evil. Oh, you son of a bitch. Like, oh, did not expect that at all. But, man, this was a no disqualification match. I can tell you that right now. Jesus, just these two beating the living shit out of each other, especially with the chair shots. Oh, man.
I'm still waiting for that home run. I'm still waiting for that home run to land.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, that's right. The home run. And then, of course, I was scared for Naito for this spot. I'll put it right now because I'm actually looking for the picture. That's what I was doing. This kind of scared me when he did the power driver in the table to Evil. I was like, oh, because his head landed right in the back of the fucking the guardrail. I cringed for a minute. I was like, oh no,
Rhino style.
Yes. Oh my god. But I was happy he was okay. He finished the match at least, but of course he finished with the match with El Destino. Let me show everybody what's the Destino because everybody wants to know. What is he talking about? Destino? Okay,
man, they carry that O for like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Exactly.
Destino. There you go. Yep, there you go. Bam, right there. And your winner, who still survived in this tournament, and that is Tetsuya Naito, man.
I want to know how they came up with that move. Like, who designed it that way to do the flip into it? Like what made you want to do that? Because it's like, oh, let me do this flip into like an inverted DDT every night as my finisher. Like,
it's like a standing sliced bread into a inverted DDT. This is not easy.
Yes, it's not easy. I give kudos to Naito for doing it. What I want to say about this, it's the fact that Naito here really looks hurt. I don't know if you guys noticed throughout the whole match, his knees are giving up. His knees are giving up, and then throughout the match, after he finished, he stepped out. Obviously, he gave his speech promo. Him leaving, you could tell he's like his knees were shaking. They were not there. Like he looked like this could be his last tournament, in my opinion. I think.
Yeah, it's not.
Might not see. Yeah, I think we're not going to see this man for a while. I think he's either. Because I heard Kevin Kelly mention about his knees, that he needs knee replacements, so he needs to get that situated, and then this could be the last time we see Naito for quite some time if he does get that knee replaced, and I don't think we might see him in the ring. I think he's going to be more of a manager role. I hate to say that, but I think there's nothing else that Naito could prove. he's done it all. He got his moment, even though it was the pandemic era, but he got his moment at that baseball stadium, and which was wasn't G1, but it was what was it, summer Wrestle Slam, something I think it was, but
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, there you go.
Yeah.
He got his moment there, defeating Evil for the IWGP.
It was what was it? What's the summer show that they always do at the stadium? Not the Grand Slam, but the one that they always do in like August.
I'm trying to remember which one is it. The one they do in August, but I know which one.
At the baseball stadium that they do.
Yes, I thought it was Grand Slam.
No,
I thought it was no.
Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam was Osprey versus Okada, right?
I believe so. You're right.
Yeah. That was Osprey and Okada. But it was a couple of years ago when Evil took the belt from him, and then he took it back in August. It was the last time they did that one at the stadium. What was it called?
I forgot.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
But
that was at Sendai Stadium, right? Was it?
I think it was Sendai Stadium. But overall, I enjoyed it. I was happy that Naito stepped it up and he finally got the win.
Summer struggle.
Summer struggle. Okay, there you go.
Yes.
All right, awesome. But yes, very happy. Very happy.
At Jingo, it was at Jingo.
Alive. Okay, he's still alive in the tournament.
Yeah.
Take it away, then.
Yeah, this was a hard physical matchup. They went a long time too. Like they had to have a good 20+ minutes here. And of course, with Evil there, you had Dick Togo getting involved. You had like the evil things that they were trying to do to get over on Naito, but then Naito would just thwart their plans each time. Yeah, they spent a lot of time on the outside, thrown into the guardrails. They even got a table involved. I believe Evil put him through the table, and it was just a lot of that. And there was moments where you just thought Evil was going to win. I love the moment where we talked about it before, where the referee is watching Dick Togo, and Naito notices it. So he had the chair on top of him. He thought Evil was going to hit him. Then he kicks Evil, takes the chair off, puts it on top of him, and then goes like this. He goes. And then he swings like for a home run, and the crowd pops. And then he throws the chair away. And then he throws the chair away. And then Kevin Kelly goes, "Oh my God, he just got away with that one." And then
fucking Rich just see him like, I didn't see anything.
Yes,
I didn't see nothing. Oh, what a fucking prick, fucking Red Shoes, man. I can't believe it. He allowed it.
Fuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they're going back and forth. He eliminates Dick Togo from the match. You see the whole outside is just a mess. You get him in the inside. They're going slow pace. You thought he was going to be done for, but then he pulls it out, and then he fishes him off with the Destino and gets the victory. And I'm telling you, just like I said before, it was just like Sonata a couple of years ago. You think he's done, but then he's going to go on a winning streak. It's perfect how they set it up. His last matchup is Zack Sabre Jr., so he's going to go through the gauntlet now. He has to win out, but if he wins out, he'll have a chance to still win the block.
Who does he have next, Kenta?
No, Naito? I'll tell you who he has next.
I got
Hinari. He has Hinari next. I don't know about that. Fire. That's going to be fire, and that's going to be that's a big.
He got Hinari on the 5th. He got Kenta on the 9th, and then he got Zack Sabre Jr. on the 16th. So that does help him where he has a week between Kenta and Zack Sabre Jr.
I knew Kenta was coming up. That's I didn't know if it was the next one or the one after.
Yeah,
but I mean, this matchup was great because it was one of those matches with the story behind it. There's a lot of bad blood between them, especially they were former stablemates. So, definitely the story behind it also added to the intensity of the matchup. And this matchup was intense. A lot of hardcore spots in this. A lot of, that pile driver was, like I said, that was a Rhino-style pile driver, which always made me cringe back in the ECW days. Those pile drivers from the apron to the floor through the table. Crazy spots like that. You got to remember, Like, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So it's like you pulling out spots like that, and then you have like tournament matches. Like, it's just a tournament. It's, you know, you're going to be wrestling again. This is not the final. So it's crazy to see matches like this where they're going all out, knowing that they're going to be wrestling again very soon. But Naito pulled it out. So, you know, I don't know. Does this mean he goes on a winning streak? Does he come back? Or is this just giving him a little bit of hope just to, you know, bring him back down a little bit? Because to be honest, like Ivan said, like Naito did look really hurt. He was wobbly in there. And I don't think you go on a winning streak with him because I don't know if his body can hold up. And it's sad to see because Naito was great. But at this point, like, I don't know if he's going to be holding up, especially like I've been talking about how hard Hinare hits. And that's why I want to know who the next person is, because he looks shaky in this matchup. And then he's going to go against a fucking monster in Aaron Hinare, who brings a very physical style. So it's going to be interesting. I think Naito's best bet for victory for that would be just to try to get a quick sneak pin and win the matchup early, because he's going to be going through a war with Hinare. But speaking of wars, this was a war with evil, and I really enjoyed this matchup. Great main event.
Oh, indeed. It was a great main event. I'm just really scared for this man. I am. I'm really, really scared for Naito. Big fan of him, of course. I don't know, man. This could be the end. I'm as much as I hate to say that, but this could be the end for Naito. I don't know. I want to say career, maybe. It's tough to say, but if he gets that knee replacement, we'll see what happens with him in the near future. If he is able to come back or not, full strength. But I've been
maybe at least on a part-time basis, at least, because even if he gets that knee replacement, I wouldn't want him like wrestling full time and then, you know, like get that knee replacement to live comfortably through life, not to wrestle in the ring again, because I don't want to see him get hurt again. If this is it for him, hell of a career. Like, think about where he started with being a young lion and then no limits, and then now being one of the top guys. Hell of a career for Naito.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
20 fucking plus years. I mean, there's nothing else left, you know? So, I mean, man, it's amazing. I can't believe it. So, all right, man. So I'm not looking for the card for. Let's see.
Night 10.
Ooh, the last one of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Night 10. Jesus.
Yes.
Oh man, how many matches did we cover by far, man? Jesus Christ.
So far, we covered, I think,
12.
13 or 12 or 13.
12, yeah.
12. We still got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 more. 17,
Yeah.
not 17 more, but
I was going to say 17 more. Whoa. Did I miss
hold
something?
on.
Shit, what did I miss?
Jeez.
I might need a peace out, guys.
Oh man, and there you have it. Of course, this happened earlier today, ladies and gentlemen. This was Tomo Ishii versus Great Okan, Toru Yano versus Tom Lawler, Tama Tonga versus Sonata, Goto versus Kenta, the main event. Of course, David Finley versus Will Osprey. Man, this is another one, great one. Oh, Q, okay. Oh man,
TUV.
Yes. And of course, the first one we had on the matchup was Tomohiro Ishii versus Great Okan. And this match was 12 minutes, about 13 minutes, you could say. And of course, we did see the upset from. Honestly, I'm gonna digress. I have to. I'm gonna have to. This match was tiring for both. Ishii looked tired as fuck. He did not look like he was at 100% after his match that he had with Tama Tonga. And I know where De Niro's, he's going to digress right now. I'm saving best for last because I know why he's pissed. For Great Okan to beat Ishii with the Eliminator, yeah, I was like, what in the fuck? Why shouldn't it have been Ishii since they made him strong? Beating Tama Tonga, why did he couldn't beat Great Okan? Of course, just a reminder, Great Okan needed a win because him too, in order to survive, he needed to win one match in this tournament.
Yeah.
And he did.
You knew they had to do it after last year. He had that quick, strong start where he didn't lose until like the fourth or fifth match and then went downhill. This was like the complete opposite, where he lost the first couple matches and then pick up the victory. And of course, once again, he goes to the Mongolian chops again. They sound even crazier this match than they did against Sonata. And then they went into the talk. I loved Lance Archer. We said this at commentary where they were talking about how he would do the chops and how Tenzan does the inverted style now. They made it a point to talk about that. And then he even did one of Tenzan's moves as well. Yes. And I liked how he made it a point to like attack the back of Ishii. He did a lot of back moves. He did back to the knee. It would pressure his the claw on him for a while. He even did it towards the back and then towards the neck to kind of strangle him a little bit, to wear him out. And then he used that to then do a couple of his other setup moves. He tried to eliminate him twice. He kept on getting reversed. And then he finally gets it. Like he kind of dominated the match, but then you had like points and times where Ishii would come in and do some of his strong moves. But this was all Great-O-Khan all day. And I liked how during the match, Lance Archer goes, "Yeah, he's stealing my stuff. He's just doing it himself." He was like, and then they went into it. It was like, "Oh, he's doing it, but doing it better." And then Lance Archer's like, "Oh, don't get me started with that." And then he gets the victory with the, like you said, the eliminator. And like it was kind of confusing because just like we said, Ishii beat Tama Tonga in a hard-fought victory, but then he gets beat like this against Great-O-Khan. It's just their way of getting Great-O-Khan that first 2 points. So if he doesn't win again, at least he's not 0.
Yeah. Definitely. Digress, Nero. I know you won't talk shit.
Oh, man.
Give it to them, man. Give it to them.
First off, I want to say shout out Kofi Wheatston. I totally agree. I think GOD should be huge in America, and if they were wrestled more in America, they would definitely be a top tag team.
Did you see Music City Mayhem? Apparently, Tangaloa, who's recovering from knee injury, was on commentary there.
No, yeah, I saw that. Like that was a good event too. We should talk about that event, but definitely, Ivan, you know me so well because, like, if you look at my notes, I put on the last line, Ishii didn't need to beat Tonga since he went back to losing, right? So I was pissed. I was like, all right, if Ishii was going to go on this run and then, assert dominance for the rest of this tournament, it would have been like, all right, I can understand why Tama lost that matchup. But Tama Tonga's a guy that we're trying to build towards a big matchup with Jay White, the world champion. So he did not need to beat Tama Tonga if he's going to lose to Great-O-Khan. I understand why Great-O-Khan needed to win, but I also don't understand because Great-O-Khan wasn't a favorite to win the tournament anyway. So if he's mathematically out of it at this point, does it really matter? You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect because I'm a fan of Great-O-Khan. I'm just saying story-wise, it kind of hurt Tama Tonga, I think. And if Ishii's going to lose this, I was like, And I'm going to talk about it later on because Tama Tonga also wrestled and he won. So I was like, like that loss really fucking pissed me off. But anyway, you know what? This was an okay matchup. I like the strong style in this matchup. These guys did mesh well and they matched each other's energy. Good matchup for sure. I'm glad, Great-O-Khan won just because I'm a fan, but damn, like to me, Tama Tonga could have beat Ishii.
Did you pick up on it wasn't this if it wasn't this match with Great-O-Khan, it was the one before Sonata. They made it a point to tell you that he was the leader with the most wins on the year with 24. He only has 4 losses, and 2 of them were to Chase Owens.
Now that's their subtle ways of trying to build people, and I like that. But I was just saying how it's good that in this tournament we have those curveball victories. I just feel like Ishii's victory on Tama Tonga, as I continued watching the tournament, it just pissed me off more and more. So
I know you were pissed. I was just like, I'm like, this can't be happening. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when Great-O-Khan won, I was like, the fuck? Like, come on. Like, Ishii just beat Tama Tonga. Like, come on. But
just play it.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That's
yes.
That's fucking bullshit.
I know you were mad.
I tossed my computer. I stormed out the room. I punched the wall. No,
Oh man, that used to be me when I was playing 64. Yes, I was mad. Oh man, and then
he stole my finisher.
I don't want to play no more.
I don't want to play no more. You stole my finisher, man. Yeah. Exactly. No reason for loss. Yes.
Facts.
And of course, the second match for night 10 in the A block tournament, we have Toru Yano versus Tom Filthy Lawler. Finally.
Oh my God!
Hold on.
You beat me too.
Hold on.
You beat me to it.
Oh, hold on. Where the hell is it? Oh, yes.
Yo, Sister Act 2 is underrated. Shout out to that movie.
It went 2 years in a row in 1993. There goes Filthy Lawler trying to sell Sister Act Whoopi Goldberg to Toru Yano. They switched
in
the
wig. In the wig too.
Oh, in the wig. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, this match was so entertaining. It was like that's all I can say. It was so entertaining.
Kofi in the chat, bro. That's exactly what I was saying when I saw that shit. When I saw him pull out the DVDs, I was like, what the
fuck? I was just surprised. I was like, what?
And the best part was it was in Royce Isaac's like jacket too. It was
he opened it up. You never know when you randomly need Sister Act 1 and 2 when you're ringside.
How'd he get these into the building?
Oh man. And yeah, even Lance, he was selling it too. He's like, please don't tell me he has Sister Act 2. He's like, oh shit, he does. He does have Sister Act Part 2. He took it out.
He kind of spoiled it because
and then later on in the match, he was like, Can I get Sister Act? Can I get him? And they're like, no.
He kind of spoiled it because when he pulled out 1, he was like, oh, Kevin Kelly, they made a Part 2. It was a good movie.
Oh man, that shit was classic. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Go ahead then. I know you gotta add more to that. You have to.
There's so much to add. First, of course, like he came out and I'm like, geez, what did he not like comb his hair or something? Because the hair looked funky. Like I didn't even think that he had a wig on at first. I was just like, okay, his hair's all crazy. And then they made fun of it. It was like Team Filthy. They stink. Well, are they? And then what's his name? Lance Archer made the thing. He was like, I wonder where he got that jacket from, talking about Royce Isaac. But then he takes the pants off and the shorts off. Toru Yano goes, before they start out. I liked how he did that 2 times. And I'm like, geez, how many shorts does he have on?
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the match, Lance Archer was like, damn, he was like, for a guy with nothing on, he sure had a lot to pack in there because he had the 3 shorts. Of course, he had the cup. I just love the pacing of the match with the little joking parts to it because they showcased a lot of the wrestling. I love the comment that they made that to practice his wrestling, Toru Yano's dad made him go outside and do the double leg takedowns along the fence, along the tree. To practice, and then Lance Archer goes, did he take down the tree? And then he goes, no, he didn't. He was like, but he tried. And you started to see a lot of Tom Lawler go with the reversals with the wrestling. He would put on the guillotine, went to the back, went for the sleeper, and then you were just seeing them go back and forth. And I loved how they pulled off both sides of the ends. And Toru Yano tried to get him with the exposed turnbuckle. You see Royce Isaac come in and save him with the turnbuckle cover, holding it there. But then you see Toru Yano run in, and then he pulls it away. And then Kevin Kelly was like, "How are you going to not help a guy out like that? You helped your boy out. How are you going to not help out Yano?" And then they go into like the finish towards the end of the match, where he goes to low blow Tom Lawler, and nothing happens. He just goes, yeah, and he takes it again, and then he gets him with the back, the knee to the elbow to the back, and then gets the 3, and then he pulls out the cup. Like I knew as soon as that happened, I was like, he's gonna have a cup on. He's going to have a cup on, and that's why it didn't affect him, and then he picks up his first 2 victories. I like seeing it, the matchup, because even though they had a lot of joking parts to it, you got to see a lot more Tom Lawler because it wasn't a big guy. He got to showcase a little bit more of his in-ring skills. And it was actually, for a Yano match, it went very long, which was shocking as well. I wouldn't have been surprised if it went and you saw it, and then it showed that they went 15 minutes because it was one of Yano's longest matches this year.
Oh, but yes, he is great on commentary.
Yes.
Man, Lance did a fantastic job. He did. De Niro, floor is yours, my brother.
Man, this was a great comedy way to open it up, but then they got into it. But I love the fact that when they were giving out the DVDs, but even before that, like when Tom Lawler was taking off the first set of pants, and Kevin Kelly said one day he's going to forget to put that second set on, and we're all going to get a show.
And then Archer,
I was like, "Who's going to have a thong on?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He didn't say that.
That shit was hilarious, but definitely was a good matchup. I love the fact that the whole wearing the cup when Yano went for the low blow, because that shows that Tom Lawler been studying up and watching how Yano's been getting the victories. It was that low blow on Jonah in the first night that got the count out win, and he pulls out that low blow quite often, so he came prepared. Ivan, you're gonna understand this. I don't know how familiar Dan is with this, but you know who it reminded me of when that low blow was ineffective? Reminded me of Human Tornado. If you remember back in the day, he had the balls of steel in PWG.
He had the balls of steel. Yes, he did. I remember the
Every time you would go for the low blow on him, you would hurt your arm and shit.
You would hurt your arm, man. It was, oh my God.
I remember when he pulled that shit out in Wrestling Society X.
Yes.
But definitely, like, that's what I thought of when that happened. I was like, he pulled out the Human Tornado. But definitely was a very entertaining matchup all the way down to the ending where he got the better of Yano. So I think it's cool that he got the victory because he too needed a win. And Tom Lawler is a guy who I want to see continue in Japan as well. So I think that was awesome that he got that win.
Oh, yes. Well, finally, and his first G1 win for Tom Lawler. So good for him. I'm happy for him. All right, then we get into the third match. And that is, of course, Tama Tonga versus Sonata. Man, my boy, man. Why? Damn it. You son of a bitches, man. But it's okay.
I was mad about this, too.
I told you.
I know. For me, these two guys, they look really tired. Honestly, man, these guys went back to back. I love the dude giving out DVD. Like, all his matches are entertaining Yano. Yep, I think. He fought Monster. No, let him fight. Yeah. Let him fight Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I remember when he was Mox's first loss in the G1 like 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he did. He gave Mox's first loss.
Mox went on a run and then Yano beat him.
It's like I said, during triple threat match: Yano, Orange Cassidy, and R-Truth.
And put it on Comedy Central.
Yeah,
put it on Comedy Central. But man, this match was great. It was good to see great offense between both. Just, of course, Tama Tonga with the upset, with the gun stunner, of course, shocked me. I think, Sonata tried all his best counter offense, but Tama Tonga with the pickup. So I was really surprised. So kudos now to Tama Tonga for taking that win on night 10. So take it away, Dan.
I loved how Tama Tonga tried to do the Paradise Lock, and then he almost had it, but then, of course, Sonata, knowing it, broke out of it, and then he counters it, does a couple moves, and then he puts him into the Paradise Lock, and then Kevin Kelly is like, it's so hard to get out of the Paradise Lock. If you try to move your hands, it locks up your feet, but then if you try to move your feet, it locks up your hands. So it's like the only way to get out of it is Sonata like basically kicking you out of it. That's the only way you get out of it. And I love every time Sonata gets the crowd going, and then he does it. And then who was it that said that? Oh no, it was two nights before this where Sonata wrestled Great Khan, where ELP. It sticks to me now. He was like, maybe he's deaf. Maybe that's why he tries to get the crowd going. Maybe that's why he gets the crowd going, because he needs to hear. And it just sticks with me now, and I just laugh every time I see him in the ring, and then I think about that. But this was very fast-paced, very a lot going on. They even mentioned it. They're like, these guys are just go at it very quickly. I love the transitions. Their routine between the Dragon Sleeper and the Gun Stun. One of my favorite moments was when Tonga goes to jump into the Gun Stun, and it got reversed into the Dragon Sleeper. Like, it catches him as he's trying to do it, pulls him down into the Dragon Sleeper, and he had him cranked in there, and he had him going. And that was one of my favorite moments here. They just had a very good back and forth moment. And of course, it ended with the gun stung out of nowhere. Like, I thought that Sonata was going to pick it up because he was trying to finish him off, and then he just gets the finish, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3, and then he moves to 2-1, of course, in the G1, and he's right there, right behind Jay White. He's creeping up, and he's waiting for that matchup now. Like, of course, he has. I believe next he has, if I'm looking at it correct, is Taichi on the 9th, Okada on the 10th, and then Jay White on the 16th. So he's going back to back, and now right before he gets the Jay White matchup. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen. He's going to beat Jay White, and he's going to advance. And how crazy would that be for him to beat him? And then in the semifinal matchup, you would have Okada and Tonga.
I mean, it would have been better if they were both undefeated, because that would tell a better story, in my opinion. In my opinion,
it would, but then you got to make, like, if they're both undefeated, it's like, okay, he wins, he advances, but this, I like how he has the one loss already, and it's like, okay, if he wins, he gets that tiebreaker over Jay White, and then he gets the win over Jay White. Whereas if they're just undefeated, it's like, okay, you know, like even Okada had that last year where Jeff Cobb went undefeated going into last night, but Okada took the victory. I mean, Okada lost to Tonga right beforehand, and he needed to get the victory over Cobb to jump him. It just adds to that layer of the rivalry between Tonga and Jay White, where Jay White is going to come into it thinking he's going to win because he's undefeated, and Tonga has the loss, and he has to win. He has to win to get over. He can't just win by them being tied, and then he could get like a disqualification and win. Like, he has to get a victory here, and I think
that's assuming if he goes all the way and wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think that him and Sonata, they matched each other's energy really well. This was a very highly athletic matchup, and I think that they both were, you know, they pulled out a great matchup. Like I said, Tonga winning the matchup was good for me, but I also thought, you know, this was hard for me because I also like Sonata, and I want Sonata to be the winner of the whole tournament. So it was hard for me. I'm glad that Tonga won, though. I want to address Kofi Wheatston's comment in the chat there, right? That's exactly what I was talking about too. Like, I feel the same way, you know, amazing matches and amazing storylines, but it's always the same people at top. So it would be nice if they put new people at the top, because there's other guys who deserve those championship titles in New Japan that never get it, because, you know, you got the same 4 or 5 guys wrestling in the main events for those titles. So I totally agree with you there. Like, that is the way it's like very similar to WWE, in my opinion. You got the same people at top. Everybody else is having great matches, but very few times. Maybe now we'll see it with Triple H there, but very few times you have people like elevated to that next level, no matter how good they do, you know? So definitely, I agree with you with that one. And I can see how like that could turn some people off if it's like business as usual in the main event all the time.
I feel like with what I noticed from New Japan, I feel like they always have that core 4 up at the top, but then what they do is it's like a cycle in, cycle out type thing, where it's like, you know, they're going to build their young lions, and they're going to build them up for a year or two. They're going to go out for a year and go on an excursion, but then they're going to come back. And then you've got the guys that are main event talent. They're going to cycle out into like that veteran role where they work with the young lions now. Yeah. And then they cycle in another 4 guys to become the main event talent. And it's like that. It's like a cycle with the New Japan. That's how I feel like it is.
I just feel like whenever someone wins the title, they're only a placeholder until Okada decides to win the title back. And it's been like that for many years. Like whenever someone wins the title and it's like out of the ordinary, having Osprey win or having Naito win or having I said Osprey, but having like Kota Ibushi win, it's like they just hold the title until Okada wins it back, and Okada usually wins it back pretty quickly. So that's the part where it gets a little.
That's why I kind of liked when Osprey had it, but then he went to New Japan Strong and did that thing. But then Shingo had it, and then you had Shingo and Osprey do the thing. And even though at the end of the day, 6 months later, Okada was the one to win it at Wrestle Kingdom, they still had that little rivalry in between it with Shingo and Osprey, where they had the title for a while, and it was like, okay, you might be building guys here. I think that was a test for him, and I think they did good. And I think eventually, with like just like you said, with Naito with his knees going in there, Tanahashi could be like taking the next step down too. You could see those two guys go into the next phase where they're just going to start putting over the young lions, and then you're going to see Shingo and Osprey stepping into their roles.
I think the way how I see it is, it all going to come down to what we see in September. Once the crowd is able to now go crazy, no more masks. Now you're able to cheer. Now we're able to see what they've been holding in for the last year and a half, because there's certain talents there that they wanted to, that got over with the crowd, with the claps, but we don't know what they feel inside. We don't know how Yoshi-Hashi's going to get over. Goto's going to get over once again. Get back in that line again. Hanare, who I mentioned earlier. I mean, so many right now upcoming, and even seeing Lawler, like if he's, imagine him being there and then the crowd actually really loves him. The same with Jonah. This could change a lot of different directions. However, though, the problem has always been how, Deniro mentioned it. Gato's problem is he keeps the original too much up there. If it's not Naito, then it's Okada. If it's not Okada, then you'll put Ibushi. If it's not Ibushi, Jay White.
And you have these little moments of other wrestlers holding the title, but it always feels like in the end, Okada is going to win that title back from whoever has it. And that's the only thing. They rely a little too much on Okada, and I love Okada, but you can't always rely on him to be your top champion all the time.
And I felt Jay White forced himself into the picture because of how well he broke out of it with the Kenny Omega stuff, and then with the Adam Page. Like he kind of forced himself into it, and then everybody just felt like he was just like that rare talent, and he had to be up there. And then he worked with all the greats right from the beginning, like right away. Tanahashi, then it was Okada, then it was Naito, then it was Ibushi. He worked with them literally right from the start there, and he got into it, and it was just like, okay. And now you're just like, we need to get more of these talent back into those roles now, and it's just like, how is it going to work out? And I'm hoping that they filter in more as they go, and that's why I like New Japan Strong, because I think it's going to be another outlet for some people to gain more experience and to filter in through New Japan in, of course, Japan, and then see if they can sink or swim.
That's right. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Hiro, on the Sonata Tonga?
Tama Tonga should have beat Ibushi. Not Ibushi. Ishii.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, final thoughts.
It was a good match, though. I love the athleticism and the intensity between both guys, for sure.
Now we get into the fourth match of the night, and that is Hiroshi Goto versus Kenta. Oh, man, I was hurting, man. Why? That's my boy wrong.
I ain't going to lie, though. As much as I love Goto, I've been a Kenta fan for many, many years since I saw him live in Ring of Honor in like 2005. So, real talk, if Goto's going to lose to anybody, I ain't mad that it's Kenta.
Okay.
I ain't mad at it.
I was okay. I was like, all right. I mean, it was a great match. It wasn't, I want to say the best, but it was at least great storytelling for me, which I enjoyed. I was really happy to see Kenta at least, get the upset because he needed to win too.
Yeah. What I enjoyed is the talk between Kevin Kelly and Lance Archer about Kenta liking big sticks and liking to take him from Hashi, which like I'm just like he's not even in the match, and that's what they're talking about because he's part of this with Goto, and he has a point. He's like every time he's doing something, he's hitting people with sticks or taking somebody's stick and just hitting them with it. Like he must just not like sticks, and it must be a thing that he's just like enamored with. And they had a 5-minute conversation about it during the match. And I'm just like, am I watching the match or am I trying to listen to them talk about this funny topic right now that they started out of nowhere? And then I was like, okay, let me transition to the match because the match was pretty good, like
solid, yeah.
Because Goto, the hard hitting style right away, but then Kenta was using a lot of those kicks, a lot of those like mischievous moves. One of my favorite spots was when he grabs I believe it was the stick or the chair, and Kenta pulls the ref down with him, and he's like, no, and he just sits there with it, and he's like, don't hit him, you're gonna get disqualified. And it is in Japanese, and then you got Kevin Kelly trying to translate for it at the same time, and it was just perfect because he was like, you're not going to hit me because if you try and hit me, you're going to hit the ref. Yeah. And then that was kind of like the turning point of the match where Kenta was just unloading on him, and it took not one, not two, but three tries at doing the go to sleep before he got Goto, and Goto just looked out of it at that point.
Yeah, he did. He looked tired. He looked devastated from the last match he had. I think the one with Hinara is the one that got him. Like, I think that for me, that match
that was hard hitting. That's why,
hard hitting, and you could tell that he was tired out. Kenta is almost likewise the same. Like, this is what happened when you're in a G1, ladies and gentlemen. You don't take these off like a week. No, you take through 1 or 2 days.
Every day.
You know,
every day.
Goto had to go against two heavy strikers like back to back. So I can understand like how his body starts to like, give up at this point because Kenta is a master striker. He got heavy kicks, heavy forearms, and like when he strikes, like you hear it. And that's why, I feel bad because Goto had to go against Inari and then Kenta back to back. It was like, damn, give this man a break. But this is the G1. Like this is what you gotta expect when you go into it. Like it's not for the weak of heart, it's a murderer's row. So definitely, I really like this matchup, but I'm glad that Kenta won because if Kenta lost this matchup, mathematically he'll be out of it.
Yeah, he'll be out.
So that was his first win too.
Yeah. So it's good to see Kenta on at least in the winning circle for a little bit, right? Because I don't think he's going to be Naito, unfortunately, but I think that Kenta's a guy where he's been very injury prone and. He may also be on the tail end of his career just because of all the injuries that he's had. So, like, it's good to see him still get some of these victories because, like I said, I've been a fan of Kenta for a long time. I like how on commentary, how on commentary they're bringing up how in his Noah days, even though he was like a junior heavyweight, he would mix it up with the heavyweights and he would still hold his own. I remember seeing matches with, like, people, like, I know they were talking about matches that he had, but they didn't mention one of the matches that I saw that I loved. If you watch Kenta versus Kenta Kobashi, like Kenta was holding his own and Kenta Kobashi was chopping the shit out of him, but still, and he gave up like over almost 100 pounds to Kenta Kobashi. So like definitely like Kenta could hold his own against a lot of the bigger guys, but for sure, I think that, it's good to see him win. And it's just a shame that it had to come to the expense of Goto because Goto, I want to see him continue to progress as well.
Too bad we don't see
Oh, man. And all right, the main event for night 10.
Hot off the presses.
OMG, ladies and gentlemen, because we had David Finley versus Will fucking Osprey, and it shocked the world because I lost my mind. I just couldn't believe it. This match, I was just...
What's up with that?
And then the 3 count. When it happened to 3 count, I was... Yes. David Finley defeated Will Osprey in this fucking tournament.
This matchup made me write my notes in all caps.
Yeah.
That's all I put is what the fuck, because I was just like did not expect this at all from Will Osprey to. By the way, kudos to fucking Finley, man. Fucking kudos. Why I said because when this was a great counter. He countered Oscar so many times until Will finally hit it. But then he kicked out. The counter.
The counter in the air to the stunner was amazing. It
was amazing. Fucking amazing. Man. And then the aftermath to hear Finley. This is promo 101 that I will learn. Anybody should learn this shit if you're becoming. Yes, I want you to keep this belt. Here, you can have this belt. But I also want you to remember when you're seeing this belt that you're holding my IWGP US Championship belt. That is my belt.
Hellacious promo.
That was a fantastic promo, man.
And then Archer's like, do I get the first shot if you lose? Yes. And then Finley goes, you're on, you got it. And then Archer goes, man, you know how long it took me to get the match with Moxley? I gotta get it when I can.
Nah, but honestly, that promo at the end, that was a hellacious promo. It was short but packed a punch. Yeah. Like he made his points known, and he had that great delivery. So for people who doesn't think that Dave Finley could speak on the mic, you're dead wrong. So go watch this matchup.
Can I say that this is one? I think this match could be the one that he will resign. I have a feeling that he's going to resign at the end before the G1 is over. He is going to resign before.
How could they not now? How could
they
not?
Why not? I guarantee you that Gato sat down with him. Okay, look here. We're going to talk about this. How much you want? What is it that you want to do here in your career? And I guarantee you that Finley digressed towards him, and Gato had no other option to hear him out. All right.
Finley was like, okay, whatever.
Like, what are you gonna have him do? Oh, yeah, I'll have you beat Juice, Shingo, and then Osprey, and then have a good one. No, like how you can have him beat the three big guys at the time in the company in your block in a row, like 1, 2, 3. Not like you went, okay, this one here, there, and then finishing off there. He did them all in a row, and the way that he did it was just amazing. Mm-hmm. But I loved how this kind of started the day before, like a couple of days before, where they did the 3-on-3. The 3-on-3. How it ended, how just heated that they first got into it. Then he comes into the match in the prelim match and just storms right up to Osprey, gets in his face, and then the other ones who start the match up just brawling. So it was just a lead up into this match, and you knew that these guys had all that animosity. When you see where Osprey's music hit, he doesn't do slow motion coming to the ring. This guy comes out, throws the jacket off right away, throws his Rev Pro word title around the ground like it doesn't mean anything, and comes to the ring and gets in the face of Finley, who has the belt right there. And he was like, you want it? Come get it. He was like, I said I'll give it to you after the match, but you're going to have to fight for it. And then that's what they did. These two guys went at it for quite a long time. They had a lot of reversals. Osprey got started very quickly. You got Finley mixing in the counters. Of course, he counted the Oz cutter, and not once, not twice. And then, of course, we talked about the amazing stunner out of nowhere. Then he finally counters him at the end. You think he's going to do the hidden blade. He ducks under it, picks him up, and then he does the trash panda and gets the finish there. That shit was amazing. And gets the 1, 2, 3 for the victory. Everybody was shocked that he got the victory. Now he leads the D block at 3-1 with 6 points. He's beat all the big hitters, heavy hitters in it, with his only loss, of course, to the Tokyo Pimp. And now he has ELP in 8 days. He has a whole week before he goes. I
can't wait to see that match
on the 10th. It's the third now here on the East Coast, but he doesn't wrestle until the 10th. And then he finishes off with Yoshihashi. So a lot's
That's gonna be a banger.
A lot's gonna happen until then. Like if you look at who Osprey
future world champ, future
yes.
U.S. champ right here.
Yeah. If you look at who, like I was talking about this earlier. I was thinking about who Osprey has left. He has Shingo Takagi and Juice Robinson still left. Those are his last two matches. And then I think he has like Yoshihashi is his next opponent or something like that. But those are his two last matches. So there's a chance that he could lose one of those two matches, and then this whole D block could just like be like either Finley or just thrown on like under C again, where we have no idea who's going to win, where there's like a battle between 3 or 4 people.
We'll have to wait and see on that, but take it away, Junior.
This matchup, like I said, made me write it in all caps. I ain't even lying. I'm gonna show you my notes right here. Like, holy shit.
Delicious.
Oh yeah, man. This matchup was fucking awesome. Like, I just sat back and enjoyed it. And especially like I not gonna lie, like I watched it about like 2 hours ago. So like I'm still on that like high from it because man, this match was just a banger. But a part of me, like as much as I wanted to see Finley win because I see him like going on this run, I didn't think he was going to. I thought, Osprey was going to win. This is how Osprey gets the title back, and he's officially like the U.S. champion for real. So like I didn't see it coming out like this. By Finley winning this, it made me start thinking, like, what if Finley wins the whole thing? Like at this point, it is a very big possibility. He's going on a tear. He won 3 matches in a row that were very hard matches, but against former champions. Like, all right, his matchup with Juice Robinson was a good matchup. Juice Robinson, former U.S. champion, but Shingo, world champion. We talked about that. Will Osprey, also former world champion. So he's going against world champions and beating them. If you tell me like this would be, a curveball and have him win the whole thing. And I don't think people are going to be mad because right now I feel like more and more people are falling in love with David Finley. He is just on a tear. Like you said, he's one of the MVPs of the tournament. And I wouldn't stop him anytime soon because right now I feel like he's getting better and better with each match. Where you see other guys getting tired, you see other guys breaking down. David Finley looks like he's getting better with each match, which is very rare to see. And it is awesome to see because he's like the fucking Terminator right now. Like you can't stop him.
And they made it a point to mention that he made that surprise run in the New Japan Cup where he made the semifinals where he lost to Osprey when Osprey won it, and then of course beat Shingo for the title, and then he made the other run years before where he lost to Jay White. So they made it a point to say that, and then in that New Japan Cup he beat Jay White. So it's like, okay, you're playing the seeds with us with potential matchups down the line.
For real, yeah.
And then I look at the thing right now, I'm like, the only way for Finley to like fall out of it is if he loses his last 2 matchups and then he finishes with 3 losses, because now Juice has 2 losses and Shingo has 2 losses and Finley has the tiebreaker between them two. Shingo, and then you got Osprey, who has 1 loss now, who's tied with Finley, but he still has to wrestle 1 extra match because Osprey's only wrestled 3.
Yeah.
And he has that loss to Finley. So Finley has the tiebreaker against all 3. And then Shingo still has to wrestle Osprey. And then Osprey still has to wrestle Shingo and Juice. So it's like it's set up perfectly to where okay, they're trying to make it really good that Finley has a good shot of winning it, but then it makes you think maybe he falters, and then they make it so the last night every one of the 4 has a chance.
Yeah, I could see that happening too. Yeah. All I know is right now Finley's on like a miracle run. I wrote here, and it's amazing to see because I like I said, I go back to that AEW Dynamite match. I saw him against Hangman Page, and I said, "Yo, people are sleeping on Finley. Like this guy's gonna be a fucking star." And it wasn't even like a month ago. I feel like so quickly he became a future star to this guy's the present. Like he's a fucking star right now.
And then just like we said, I couldn't even tell that he's only 29. I felt like he was older than that.
Facts.
And they built him up so much now, being this 3, they made him a legitimate contender for that U.S. title. Like, and they made it a point. Like, that makes me think he's not going to win the whole tournament. But at least if you know that he doesn't, he's going to be in line for the U.S. title, and he could win
Or
it.
him, a triple threat match, him and Juice Robinson and Will Osprey. I'll be happy.
I can see that happening at Wrestle Kingdom for sure. I think that's the match that they're going to have for sure.
Oh, definitely. Now let's get into the scoreboard. Who is leading here? Oh,
it's getting more interesting. Every time we do these episodes, these scoreboards are getting way more interesting.
Yes. As we see in the A block, Okada with 6 points. Leading right behind him is Jeff Cobb. Bad luck finally. Why am I surprised you say? I'm not surprised you're saying that.
Am I that predictable?
Yes, great minds think alike. Jeff Cobb for bad luck. Bad luck. That's surprising.
The best part of Fale with 4 is he got a victory by TQ and then a roll up in his other victory to Yano.
That's right.
Hey, a victory is a victory. He's finding a way.
A count out and a roll up. That's what he got. A count out and a roll up. So let's see. Let's go to block B. We have Jay White leading, of course, undefeated. Obviously, he has not lost. And right behind him, of course, is Tonga with 4, Sonata with 4. Those are the only 2 right behind.
Yeah, and then Tama Tonga has only wrestled 3 to where Sonata has wrestled 4
already. Yeah, so there's still enough time for Tama Tonga to probably catch up. On the C block, this is the one that is all messed up as we have Tanahashi with 4. Goto at 4, Zombre at 4, and this is a debacle right here because Naito needs to catch up.
Yeah, that's like I said, like they made it perfectly to the point to where Naito controls his destiny there.
Right here, you're absolutely right. This could go either way for me. It could either go away for Tanahashi, Goto, Naito, and Zombre. But I have a feeling Hinari's gonna sneak up in there. Somehow he's going to sneak up. Somebody tells me he's going to come down to all these right here except for Kenta and Evil. And I hate to say that, but it is unfortunate. In the D block, we have Finley leading with 6 points. He's only, 3-1. Right behind him is Will Osprey. And everybody else is at 2. Hashi at 2. Shingo at 2. Robinson at 2. Phantasmo at 2. And Yujiro at 2. But how you mentioned, obviously, with the next couple of days coming up, 9/11, and there you go, 9/11. That's coming on August 5th.
Jonah versus Jeff Cobb, man. I'm so excited for that. It's funny, every time you say D block, I think of the Locks, the New York rap group. Just randomly.
and just thinking about it, you got 3 Bullet Club members in Group D. I just realized it.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, this is going to be an incredible matchup right here coming up on August 5th. Taichi Owens, Naito. This is the one that Naito needs to win because Hanare is no joke. And Hanare needs to win as well, too. This is the one that we all are really intrigued of seeing. Jonah, Jeff Cobb, and Tanahashi Evil will be great as well. But I feel that the one which still 2 important matchups here in this card is Naito Hanare and Jonah and Jeff Cobb, in my opinion.
Facts.
And night 12, you've got Yoshihashi and Phantasmo. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. That's going to be incredible.
This card is sick.
Yes, Goto and Zombre. I'm looking forward for that. The rematch for Wrestle Kingdom, Shingo and Will Osprey from night 1 from last year's Wrestle Kingdom. And, of course, Rado Khan and Jay White. And night 13, which is a Tuesday, August 7th. Monday, August 7th, excuse me. You're going to have, this is Friday? No, Sunday. I'm sorry. Yeah, Sunday right here. Sunday right here. And we have Hanare Ebo. I'm intrigued with that match. Lawler Fale. I hope Lawler pulls the upset. Juice and El Phantasmo. I am looking forward to seeing that. That's going to be a fire match. And Chase Owens and Ishii and Jonah and Okada. That's the one.
That's the one I'm looking forward to the most because this is the first time like Jonah's going to be thrown into the deep end against elite competitors. Let's see how he's going to hold his own because Jonah's a guy like I always thought was a great wrestler. Like I liked his stuff before he went to WWE. NXT as Bronson Reed, I thought he had some good moments.
Yeah.
But
good
now
moments,
it's like,
man.
now here it's like he's going against upper echelon, and Okada is widely regarded as the best wrestler in the world. So if he could hold his own against Okada, he could go far in this, company.
I'm now realizing when looking back at that main event with Shingo and Osprey, you could have a scenario where if Shingo loses, he's going to have 3 losses after that. Or if he beats Osprey will have 2 losses. So it's like, that's a very important match. That match is going to tell a lot. And I have just a small feeling that they're going to have Shingo win. Because then you're going to have a lot, just like I said, it keeps a lot more people around it at the end. Because if he loses, he's done.
Yeah.
There's no way he could win, because if you think about it, he would lose the tiebreaker to Osprey, and then he's also already lost the tiebreaker to Juice and Finley. So he would lose all the tiebreakers, and at worst, he'd be tied with Finley and then lose the tiebreaker. So he'd be out of it. So it makes me feel like he's going to beat Osprey and then tie up with him, and then they'll both be, of course, behind Finley, who has 1 loss. But then again, they could also throw a wrench into everything and have him tie. We haven't seen a tie yet. Wouldn't it be like crazy if the main event was a tie and they each got 1 point?
That would be crazy for sure. I do feel like, right now there's no one that's out of it, but by the end of these 3 shows, next week when we have this show, there may be some people that is mathematically out of it.
And they made it a point to tell you that Finley is going to be one of the first people done the tournament. So he's going to have
so many matches back to back to back. Yeah, he's I think he's wrestled more frequently than anyone else.
That's why he has 8 days off right now, because he's wrestled, I think in the past week he's wrestled two times after 3 times. So now he has like 8 days. So you're going to see a lot of the guys that started out with not that many, like Tom Lawler, who only wrestled once in the first week and a half, Jonah, and then there's somebody else, Evil. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if anybody who is new to the G1 Climax or New Japan in general, having 8 days off during the G1 is very rare. It's very rare.
It is rare. But good for them that they kind of like, especially the next upcoming days. With the schedule, I mean, so this is rare too, because now you have 3 days off, technically 2.5 days, because they don't, we don't come back till Friday, so it gives them at least the opportunity, everybody to rest up and get back and ready for that 3 day.
It gives us a chance to breathe a little bit and to
Word.
Yes,
so I'll tell you what though. We were talking about less nights next week, but we still got like 15 matches to cover.
I know
we got a lot more to cover,
because now we got to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, and then it's back to
almost there.
And then it's back to the Wednesday, Saturday. But now it's going to be more matches now, because it's going to be 5 a night now.
But I'll tell you what, I'm not complaining, because this shit is hella fun. Like this is the best wrestling in the world right now.
It is, absolutely it is, and I'm really intrigued. So don't forget.
It makes me forget about a lot of the talent that's not in this. Like we're not even seeing, of course, the Good Brothers at all, because we're not seeing Hiromu, El Desperado, and all them. And
what's his name? I forgot his name, but go ahead. My bad. Oh, Kushida. Kushida. He just made his comeback, and we haven't even seen him yet in Japan because of
he's been able to work with the LA Dojo and then Impact and whatnot. But I like how we're kind of seeing a little bit of shades of, now we're seeing the FTR at New Japan Strong. Yeah, they've got this little rivalry that looks like it's going to be brewing, maybe at the World Tag League with another team. I don't want to spoil anything with the tag titles, but for Strong, but we got like rivalry brewing with that. There's a lot going on outside of it, but because we're so ingrained in the G1, like I'm starting to forget people. Like we're seeing, of course, a Suzuki Gun, and we're freaking that we're not even seeing Minoru Suzuki. And I love how every time they come out for the prelim matches, they're coming out to Lance Archer's theme, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what, we definitely got to do this Tuesday show again for the tag, the what's called the World Tag League. Because
we're going to
World
cover
Tag
the
League
World
is,
Tag League.
World Tag League is going to be insane.
Yes.
That's going to be insane.
Oh, man, yes. And speaking of insane, we're insane already going into almost 2 hours and a half. But, hey, it's amazing because we had to cover this incredible G1 that we covered for you is 7 through 10. Now, that's a lot, all right? We covered 7 night, and then we're coming into next week for week 4. We're covering 11, 12, 13, and 14. So we'll be covering night 11 to night 14 for next
20
week.
matches.
Yes, and this is 20 matches here in these upcoming, which we're looking forward for on Tuesday to cover. And because we're almost close to the end. The last day is on August 18th is the last day.
Yeah, like I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we got 2 weeks left of 4 nights, but then after that we got Wednesday and Thursday. Like the finals is on the semis is on Wednesday, and then the finals is on Thursday. So technically we got the week. We're gonna have week. What was this? Week 3. We're gonna have a week 4, a week 5, and then we got the semifinals and the finals on Wednesday and Thursday after we do week 5.
Oh, we have to have like a breaking news special episode.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. And now the last topic of the night, ladies and gentlemen, just very brief. As of course, everybody, because we heard on Thursday last week, we promised we're going to cover today. Just very brief, as of course, from courtesy of Dan letting us know, that is New Japan and Stardom. They made an announcement that on November 20th, on their joint show, they will be crowning the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. And this championship can be defended not only in Japan, but in the U.S. And they did note it very briefly, as I'm reading here. They did note it that this belt does not usurp the red and white belts in any way. They are main titles for Stardom events. So it does, however, it's a main title just like the Stardom's titles. But my question is, I guess, are we seeing now the transition? Is Bushi board on board of now? What are the plans here? Or what are they trying to do here? I know they want to, and I talked about it with the Nero. I said when we said it on Thursday, we're live. We're like, this has got to be for the women's strong, for New Japan Strong in the United States for the women's division.
Yes,
and this
called it.
And yeah, great minds fucking think alike, because we know that this is the main reason. And if that does happen, it will definitely attract the women to compete in New Japan Strong in the U.S. 100%.
And they're already starting to come out. Like was it that started promotion that I went to Garden State Pro Wrestling? They of course had Miku, and now next month at the September show they're doing an August one, but I plan on going to the September show. They're going to have 3 more Stardom wrestlers come over and make their first appearances in the U.S. at that promotion that I'm going to. Like, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, I was already going to go to it to see the reunite of the American Wolves, and then Speedball Mike Bailey is gonna be there. But I'm just like, it makes me think that this is their plan. They're plan all along. We thought about it. They're like, with the accidental creation of New Japan Strong just because of the pandemic, it was the way of getting the U.S. New Japan talent more TV time, because they weren't able to go over to like New Japan, and stars, a big one like Jay White, it allowed him to keep wrestling. Him, Kenta, Moxley, who was the U.S. champion at the time, but he was with AEW, so he kind of couldn't go over. It allowed them to create this this monopoly, you would say, that just has kept growing and growing. And now they do it. Now they're doing it. It's kind of like Impact, where they're traveling each month doing TV tapings at a different city, and then they're just taping things. They're adding belts. Of course, you got the tag titles that are being crowned. You got the open weight title, which is Fred Rosser, and now you got this one. And it's just like, I think it's them dabbling in to see how the women do over here, getting them more exposure to the U.S. because they're all of them are over there. They're already seeing the writing on the wall with all this talent that is coming over here from Stardom and is signing with AEW and WWE. Like you look at the big names already, Io Shirai. You look at Tony Storm. You look at Asuka. You look at Jamie Hayter. You look at Bray Priestley, who is Blair Davenport in NXT UK. Those are all stars that came over from Stardom, and they want to keep them over there rather than lose them. So this gives them a route to be able to go to the U.S., wrestle. There's going to be a title there for them to go for, and then to come back. Allows them to do both now because of New Japan Strong, and for the New Japan's talent, it allows them to make more money off of it and get more exposure here to broaden everybody's eyes and to broaden the company, because they've always been big in Japan, but they were never big over here. But now they're growing. Like I saw the numbers at the quarterly meeting where they were like, in the span of a year, the numbers for New Japan Strong has doubled. Earnings wise because of it, and they're just like, oh my god, we've got something here that we can build on, and it could be just like a sister company over in the States, and it's only a thing that can only benefit New Japan in the long run.
Yeah, most definitely. Briefly, I think what this is basically New Japan Strong sees that they're growing something here in America and they're doing something really good. So, you kind of have to also fit in with the American culture of style of wrestling, and every American promotion has a female division. So I think that that's what's going to make New Japan Strong, fit in with the rest of the American promotions like MLW, Ring of Honor, Impact. You have to have that female division, and what better females to bring in than the females from Stardom? You're already bringing in stars from Japan, so I think it makes sense to bring in the women to add it to New Japan Strong. So like I said, it's cool on both ends. It's cool for there to be an IWGP Women's Champion for the women to wrestle in New Japan, but also it's also cool to see New Japan Strong stick around and wanting to fit in with the American style of wrestling as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have Miyu Yamashita win the belt first because of her exposure already over here. Wrestling Thunder Rosa, and then of course now doing her
that match should have been better.
Excursion. Now doing her excursion.
No, you talking about Yumi Yamashita? She's not from New Japan.
She's from Tokyo Joshi Pro.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do that over there, like somebody like that.
Well, I was going to mention that also. Besides here opening in the U.S., it opens the doors for more of since New Japan has that relationship with Noah here and there. Like we've seen, obviously we've seen like who did we see? Who's the last champion that we saw over there? Who just lost the belt? Who's a New Japan native? But at least it opens the doors. It also can open the door for the Tokyo Joshi Pro, for DDT, and for to work along with Stardom. It opens those barriers again, and we can see that in Japan besides here in the U.S. as well. But obviously, we want to see that belt to be here to intrigue and to catch the audiences here in the States, mainly by bringing the talents from Stardom, how you mentioned, and from Tokyo Joshi Pro, mix it up with the American women here that we want to see. I would not be surprised if they do a 32 women tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. That would be fucking amazing. But they're not, because they're gonna do it probably like an 8-woman, either 8-woman tournament, most likely. But they'll choose, or I think because right now Stardom is having their G1 in the women's right now, so to speak. They have their Group 5, so they're having theirs right now as we speak. And I think that's where it all going to decide who's going to be fighting for this belt, and then see what's going to happen moving forward when it comes to November 20th. And they also announced, I'm reading as well, that they're going to have a mixed tag matches between New Japan and Stardom. So I'm looking forward to seeing this show. That's going to be a fun show to see. And seeing Kairi Sane as well. Good thing that Io Sky stayed, because I wouldn't mind seeing Io Sky and Evil because it's their boyfriend and girlfriend.
Quick question: is there any good or bad relations with New Japan and DDT?
Somewhat. There's not the best, but it's not the greatest either. So it's in between the lines.
I was going to say, because I've noticed, like with the AEW, they've been working with all those companies. Like I know Joshi Pro with Yamaska, but then you look at DDT with the Konosuke Takeshita, and he's been all over the place. Like I saw him on the indie scene. He did.
He just did the Ric Flair's last match.
He just did the Ric Flair's last match this Saturday. He's doing Battle of the Belts against what's his name for the Claudio for the Ring of Honor title, and then that's his last match before he goes over to do the summer pay-per-view for DDT, where he goes back, and he's already talking about wanting to come back over here because his summer excursion will be done. But just seeing a lot of that, and it makes me think, like, is this going to help the relationship with some of the companies over there, knowing that they're all working with AEW?
We have to wait and see.
I would hope. Yeah.
All right. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are done for this evening for this fantastic 2.5 hour show for you guys. But we had to bring you the best over here for the New Japan show.
Mm-hmm.
Do not forget, of course, we'll be back next week covering night 11 to 9:14. Back here on Tuesday, that's going to be another banger, ladies and gentlemen, here. But also don't forget to subscribe to all of us here in, of course, the league here with Cage My IQ with Dan and Wrestling Delorean coming on August 8th. Once again, next Monday we'll be here on the YouTube of Circle the Make channel. Make sure you tune in and you'll see we'll get the time for you once our host here, De Niro, gets that ready for you guys for Monday on August 8th starting, and then Wednesdays and Fridays as well. So you guys
I can tell you this. August 8th is going to be a big day because I already got one big announcement for the first show on here on the Circle Debate. So stay tuned. You're going to want to tune into this because we're going to make the Wrestling Delorean must-watch TV if you watch it on your TV.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, Devin. Appreciate you, man. Don't
forget
also
Clark Street. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate
no
you.
Doubt.
But, man, I cannot wait until next week for the next upcoming days of this. We're almost heading towards the end, towards the semifinals and the finals for the G1. And I still haven't written down some of the predictions that they won. And I'll have that. We'll get to it when we get to the end.
I already lost.
I don't even know. We got to wait and see what we get there.
I already lost. I'll tell you right now.
I'm the only one I'm the only one not to pick Sonata, and I love Sonata. He's one of my favorite, and I couldn't pick him because I was like, I just knew that he wasn't going to, which was a shock for me, and it's working in my favor so far.
Oh, man. But yes, I am looking forward. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the description is back below. Make sure you subscribe to all of us. Follow us on our social medias. And we'll be back with you next week for another one. So stay tuned. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Wrestling Delorean, Cage My IQ, and Circle Debate, and Clark Street 2. Tribal Chiefs Day for you. Tribal Chiefs Day. We don't just make podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Let them know, Don Callis. What do we do?
Over and over. Make
over and over.
history!
Over and over and over and over.